for a big one, Dari. Thank you very much. Welcome back to Hoover. Yes, second round Wednesday into the morning, the longest game, not just in the tournament, but in Southeastern Conference history, which dates to 1933. 6 hours, 43 minutes. Mississippi State outlasted LSU, and then we all went to Waffle House together. Wasn't that fun? Smothered, covered, and chopped. The game had a little bit of everything. Will we run it back and see the same thing tonight? Always possible in this rivalry. Here's the 2-2 pitch.
Driven deep to right field. It is gone.
We're going to extras. I've heard the phrase rally boot before, but never in regard to baseball. In the club. This is the weirdest club I've ever been to. Up the middle. Past Smith. We're going home after 17. Well, he didn't have to go home, but he had to get out of here. It's the SEC baseball tournament, and we're ready for everyone to be here tonight. It will be a packed house for the nightcap. 5-seed LSU, number 4-seed Mississippi State, in a series that dates back to 1907. And they're about dead even in SEC tournament head-to-head games. Here's what the bracket looks like. We got one more spot in the semis waiting to fill. Georgia at Ole Miss will start us off tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern on the SEC Network. The number 1 seed in the regular season champs, Vanderbilt, await the winner of this one in the second game tomorrow. Welcome back, everybody. Great to be back at the ballpark. Tom Hart, Todd Walker, Kyle Peterson. They're still filling in. The LSU fans, the State fans, trying to turn down their grills and get in the ballpark, and the atmosphere is going to be special again.
Yeah, I mean, when these two show up, especially as we get later into the week, this is when the ballpark gets loud. And you said it. This is also when the tailgating gets the absolute best. The 5th time they played this year. They split the first 4 so far, and obviously coming off one that we will never forget. It's about as long as you can stand in this booth, and we had, I think, yawns all the way around by the time we got done.
But we were happy to be here and happy to see such a thrilling finish. And thrilling finishes are no strangers to this LSU program. They're at it again. If 17 innings wasn't enough, how about this against Auburn? Chris Reed at the plate. He turned into traffic cop. Anthony DiGiacomo comes scrambling home for the tying run. And Drew Bianco says, I remember this from high school. He scored from second on a wild pitch. The LSU Magic is alive and well, no matter the color of the jerseys. Heartbreak for Auburn. Another thrilling victory here in Hoover for LSU. Gold jerseys are out today for a team that's won 12 SEC tournament titles. Todd Walker, you played in the program. You played in the tournament. Something's just different about LSU in the SEC tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. When you play in Baton Rouge, you certainly work hard. There's always been a lot of talent for LSU, but in order to win 6 national championships in the last 20 games, you got to have a little magic, and I think the baseball gods are in Baton Rouge. I certainly felt it when I was there. It's a real thing.
And this rivalry is real. And Jake Mangum has been real his entire career. And this Mississippi State offense is real. But there's been something a little bit off here lately.
Yeah, it's the approach here from Mississippi State. Not approach, but ultimately the results from Mississippi State. A little bit different from what we've seen over the course of this season. They hit 60 home runs, stole a ton of bags, and really are one of the most complete offenses in the entire country. It's a reason why Mississippi State will be a top 8 national seed when everything comes out on Monday. The difference here, pretty significant. Obviously, extremely small sample set, but for State here, I mean, they're hitting about 70 points less. They're scoring 3 runs a game and hitting 121 with runners in scoring position. It's a reason why they're 1-1 so far, but not indicative of what we've seen the entire season.
The face of their franchise may just have a statue built for him, but if he does so, he's going to have to pick up the bat a little bit. For more on Jake Mangum's struggles, here's Chris Budden.
Yeah, he's had a hard time this tournament, but Chris Lemonis told him yesterday one thing: you are the best hitter ever in the best conference in the country, and he left it at that. He said, I think he's going to have a good game today, Lemonis told me. I asked him why. He said, because he had a good BP. And Mangum is a guy who needs that. He needs the positivity. He needs the feel before he comes into a game.
Well, they've got a guy on the mound today that has great feel and will probably be pitching for a very long time. One of the most heralded freshmen to ever show up in the SEC. JT Ginn from Brandon, Mississippi, turned down millions of dollars from Major League Baseball to come to Starkville. And he's been magnificent. 95 strikeouts against 16 walks. The arsenal is impressive at an early age.
Arsenal's impressive, and the season has been impressive. He hasn't missed a turn all year. He started every weekend, 16 walks and 95 strikeouts. And when you look at the stuff for JT Ginn, this is the reason why he was a first-rounder coming out of high school. Two-seam fastball will get into the mid-90s. The slider is wipeout. Fastball on the right, slider on the left, and that's primarily what you're going to see from Ginn today. Now, one thing to remember, his only start against LSU this year was not great. In fact, by the numbers, it was probably his worst start of the year. Stuff-wise was fine that night. Outcome was not, but he's been one of the most impressive freshmen in the country.
Here's a look at the batting order put together by Paul Maneri today. Giovanni DiGiacomo batting in the 2-hole. Second round against State, 2 for 6 in that 17-inning game, and he came off the bench to score that tying run yesterday. So by any name, DiGiacomo has been an impact player for LSU this week. Shortstop Josh Smith will lead things off, swings at the first and pulls it foul. There was one late change to the LSU lineup. Cade Beloso was slated to play first base and bat cleanup. Beloso took a ground ball off of his wrist to start the game yesterday, so he is out of the lineup today, replaced by Drew Bianco. Another one yanked foul. There's Cade Beloso, 9 home runs on the season.
Battled a few injuries the last few weeks. Ankle injury forced him to DH for a while. We'll watch this one. We'll see if they get him back this weekend, but should be ready for next week.
Need to win today to make it to the weekend. Winner gets Vanderbilt. There's a slider. A fantastic whiff rate on that, 64%. And here's how he uses that fantastic arsenal.
Well, 3 pitches to strike out Josh Smith. You saw the fastball. Second pitch was a changeup. Then he comes back with a slider right there. Changeup we won't see really only to left-handers. Now, there's a lot of left-handers in this LSU lineup, so you may see more than 5% today. But 66% fastballs. That last pitch was a slider, and they haven't hit it this year, hitting below 100. 70 of his 95 strikeouts coming on that pitch there.
One down for Giovanni DiGiacomo. DiGiacomo having an impactful tournament, as I mentioned, 3 for 8. That's a .375 average for the freshman from Naples, Florida. You may know about LSU's success in the history of this tournament. They've won 12 tournament titles, nobody else even close, and it seems like even more than as a team, individuals come into their own when they're wearing the LSU uniform in this tournament.
Well, you're going to have people do something that they didn't do during the course of the season. For DiGiacomo, this is 31st start of the year. Hit the big 2-run blast in the 17-inning game to tie it up and send us that far. This guy can really swing. It can really run. He's got a lot of talent. Only a freshman. They really like Giovanni DiGiacomo, and tonight he's hitting out of the 2-hole. But you can always see the approach that LSU is going to take against JT again. Look, they're being really aggressive. Both guys already swung at the first pitch. And that's how I would approach a pitcher like JT Ginn, because he's a strikeout guy. And if you get to 2 strikes against JT Ginn, he'll bury you.
JT Ginn turned down the Los Angeles Dodgers in the draft last June to enroll at Mississippi State. There's the slider again, and there's another strikeout, 2 down.
He's thrown 2 sliders today. Both in 2-strike counts, and both get this outcome right there. And that's now the 72nd strikeout this year for Ginn on that pitch right there. Neither were strikes, but because of that 95-mile-an-hour fastball, he's already thrown changeups to both of the left-handers. So you slow him down, speed him up, and then the slider finishes both Josh Smith and DiGiacomo off to start this.
Not only that, they missed it by like 4 feet. I mean, they're not even close. They're not picking up that spin on that curveball.
Here's Antoine Duplantis batting in the 3-hole, swings at the first again as he got the fastball. Foscue takes care of him, and that was a very efficient first inning for JT Ginn. Freshman makes quick work with 8 pitches, and Jake Mangum will have the bat in his hands when we return.
With contactless order and pay on the McDonald's app, you can still get your favorites from curbside pickup or the drive-thru as safely as possible. That way, the happiness of finding the last fry still feels the same.
We started Kettle Brand from the back of a borrowed van. A van that changed us and chips forever. So thanks, Keeper of the Keys, for a chance to chase organic honey, barrel-aged bourbon, and mouth-puckering pepperoncini. Because of that van, and because of everybody who loves to crunch like we do, we ramble on, knowing that caring for your taste buds and the planet they hail from is no small potatoes. Kettle Brand chips. No small flavors, no small potatoes.
Just getting started, already fired up. Yeah, this party ain't nothing like it round here. Going down out here. Another double shot of crazy in a cup, and we're just getting warmed up.
Pretty easy to get warmed up with temperatures in the mid-90s. Sun beginning to set, and it's beginning to set on the career of Jake Mangum, three-time all-conference performer, a batting title in his back pocket, and the all-time hits leader in the Southeastern Conference. Sixth in Division I history in hits with 372 of them. But Mangum just 2 for 11 this week. Maybe, just maybe, the aggressiveness has worked against him.
Yeah, no, there's no question. And I worry about that as Jake Mangum climbs through the pro ranks all the way to the big leagues. For a pitcher, I mean, you don't even have to throw a strike. You just throw it somewhere around the zone. Now, Jake Mangum's very good at hitting balls out of the zone, but if I'm Moffitt tonight, I'm not splitting the plate. I'm not even coming anywhere close, especially early, and maybe he'll chase something.
It's a big stage for a guy who was born on LSU. Clay Moffitt, 6'4", 247 senior. He's a Baton Rouge native, Catholic high school with a stopover at LSU Eunice. Only 2 starts in his career, and now he gets the ball in a must-win game for LSU.
And thrown a ton of innings this year, but that he's been out there has been pretty good. 4 walks, 14 strikeouts in 17 innings, giving up just 11 hits. And I think if you're LSU today, Todd, I mean, if you get 3 or 4 out of Moffitt, I think you get one time through the lineup a little bit more. I think you'd be pretty happy.
Yeah, if he gets through the lineup, I'd be impressed. Through the 3rd inning. If he gets through 3, that's what Paul Maneri's looking for.
This head-to-head rivalry between Moffitt and Mangum goes back generations, even if they're not aware necessarily. Clay's grandpa, Bill Barron, played at Mississippi State. Jake's grandpa played football at Ole Miss. Mangum first team all-conference again. Sends a line drive to left center field. Zach Watson will catch up with it. 2 pitches seen by Jake Mangum in his first at bat. Clay Moffitt started against Grambling on April 2nd, worked 5 innings and 2 hits. 5 strikeouts, didn't walk a batter. A big reason that LSU's pitching staff is decimated was that 17-inning game. They had 4 different pitchers. Eric Walker, Matthew Beck, Zach Hess, and Mikhail Hilliard worked 4+ innings, or 4 innings or more, I should say. Hess and Beck combined to throw 130 pitches, neither one available today. Rowdy Jordan up, switch hitter, hit the fastball away. Rowdy from Auburn, Alabama, 20-year-old, batting in the 2-hole behind Jake Mangum. Here's Clay Moffitt's 2-0. So what would your advice be for Clay Moffitt? Here you are making just your 3rd start ever at this stage with so much on the line.
I think the biggest thing is not to be too fine too early. I mean, you start getting behind, and that's where Mississippi State starts getting a lot more confidence at the plate. When you see guys in this situation, I think it helps he's a senior. I mean, I understand the stage may be a little bit different, but he's been around it plenty. You start picking early, you get in holes like just happened. 4-pitch walk right there to Rowdy Jordan, and that's when this state offense can get going.
Paul Maneri tied for the most all-time in tournament wins with Skip Burtman and Alabama's Jim Wells. He's won it 6 times. He's won it and won individual games in just about every way imaginable. A little bit of a shift along the infield as Tanner Allen comes to the plate. Chris Reed playing way off the line at third. Sophomore first team all conference. Hitting .250 this week for State. And oddly enough, it's been a tournament dominated by pitching. In every game, seemingly.
Yeah, that is odd because we've had great weather over the week and the wind has been blowing out for the most part, but not a lot of runs scored in Hoover this week.
We've had 2 1-0 games already this week. And every game but one has been decided by 2 runs or less.
Nice pick by Saul Garza behind the plate. He doesn't have a whole lot of time or experience behind the plate. He was hurt at the beginning of this year. Dude can really swing it, though.
I think they're going to test him today, too.
There's no question.
Rowdy Jordan, 10 stolen bases on the year.
There he goes. Pitch is a strike. Throw to second is just a tad late. And Rowdy Jordan in there.
The timing seemed off there. Saul Garza made a nice transfer and throw to second base. 1.4 to the plate for Moffitt. Look at the jump by Rowdy Jordan. And it wasn't even close. That's the 100th attempt to steal a bag against LSU. That's by far the most in the SEC.
And for Garza this year, he's thrown out 2 of 22. I mean, I think you're going to see if State gets on base, they're going to press it all night.
Curveball blocked by Garza, 2-2. Moffitt is known for his intensity. He's a great clubhouse guy. The numbers on LSU's catching. His dad Tommy was originally hired by Nick Saban to be LSU's strength and conditioning coordinator for the football program. He's still there. In fact, he's in the ballpark today. Likely a nervous wreck. You know, before football games, he's known to toss a chair around the locker room. I wonder if they've got everything bolted down pretty safely here at the Met today. Little dribbler in front of the plate. Garza picks it up. It died on the soft dirt. Jordan advanced to third.
Nice jump by Garza behind the plate to barehand that ball, create himself a lane to first base, and make an accurate throw.
Can barehand this one too, and for a catcher to get out there, the ball by the time Garza gets there, it's really not even hardly moving. Gets all the way down on the dirt, so barehands it, drives it right into the dirt, clears enough space like Todd just said, and the throw's a lot easier to Drew Bianco down at first base. If that thing's moving, use that glove, scoop it up, but right there, just barehands it. Plenty of time for Garza to make the throw.
So 2 down and Justin Foscue up. In for a strike. Sophomore out of Virgil Grissom High School in Huntsville, Alabama. First team all conference, a Mississippi State team that made it all the way to Omaha last year thanks to some postseason dramatics.
That's good work.
I tell you what, KP, Garza's looked 100% better than he did in the game 1 here in Hoover. I mean, he's once you get in there and get a little juices going, a little experience, you start to gain confidence. Certainly looks like Garza's confident tonight.
And this is with so many breaking balls in the dirt, catchers have to go to a knee to block it. This one's so far out in front of home plate, he couldn't go to a knee. If he goes to a knee, it goes over his head.
Yeah.
I mean, that one had to stand up and then round that top half just to keep it in front of him.
To short, Josh Smith gathers it, and Clay Moffitt keeps Mississippi State scoreless in the first on 15 pitches. Great start for the senior.
Introducing a new podcast, ESPN Daily, hosted by me, Mina Kimes. Go deeper into the stories of the moment. Get the exclusive access and insider perspective that only ESPN can give you. ESPN Daily. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
The new mask guidelines are here. It's recommended you wear a non-medical mask during your daily activities so you can protect yourself and others. Clean Zone wants everyone to be able to get a mask, and we have sourced a large number of non-medical masks that you can get fast. Clean Zone masks are lightweight and made with a high-efficiency triple-layered filtration fabric to filter out dust, bacteria, pollen, and protect against fluids. They come with a moldable nose piece for a secure fit. The full face size covers the chin for ultimate protection. The flexible ear loops provide universal fit for easy breathing. Plus, you can wear your glasses fog-free and comfortably. There's nothing else like it. Call or go online to order right now, and we'll send you a set of 10 Clean Zone masks for just $29.99. They ship from the USA, and your shipping is free. Plus, Clean Zone will donate a percentage of masks sold to the Have a Heart Knack Foundation. Call or go online to cleanzonemasks.com. That's cleanzonemasks.com. Order now.
Well, the Facebook page for LSU baseball to summarize this season would look something like this. They lost to Oregon State to close last year in the Corvallis Regional, and then they started this season on a down note, a Texas team that didn't even make it to the Big 12 tournament. Got a big win against them. LSU won 5 of their first 7 SEC series. Their starting pitching has been weird.
Well, they started the season 8-0, preseason number 1. They go into Texas, dropped all 3, walked, like 24 guys in that weekend. And since then, it's been a roller coaster ride for LSU.
Here's Drew Bianco. They had some young, promising arms as part of the program this year. Some of them still haven't thrown, but Cole Henry threw first game of this tournament and said at the time that he would be able to go back and run it back again Sunday. And the way Landon Marceau threw a couple days ago for LSU, they're looking a lot more formidable now with the rotation.
Those are good signs. Yeah, those are good signs. Cole Henry, I thought from a stuff standpoint, Todd, I thought he looked good.
Yeah,
he
really
looked like he did before he went on the shelf. And Landon Marceau's last 3 or 4 starts have been really good. I would expect those are your first 2 starters in a region. Then you figure out what you do after that. Doesn't look like they'll get Jaden Hill back. He has not pitched here and won't. I think the concern has to be that your top 2 starters going into the postseason are both freshmen. Haven't been in that spot. Plenty of stuff to win, just haven't been in the situation.
Marceau 6 2/3 yesterday in the comeback win against Auburn. Did not allow an earned run and only allowed 7 hits.
And I tell you what, to add to that, KP, I mean, they're trying to host a regional in Baton Rouge. I think if they got there, those freshmen feel a lot more comfortable.
Without a doubt. Yep.
And with Zach Hess going back to the back end of the bullpen, everything seems to be in place. Bianco punched out. 3rd strikeout for JT Ginn. So how do they match up with some of the other teams trying to grab a top 16 seed and the right to host a regional? Well, the resume looks really good. Right now, D1 Baseball has them as a 2 seed. They obviously can move up according to the projections and in the committee's eyes with another couple wins here.
This one to go a ways. I mean, based on where State's RPI is, it's top 5. You win today in a neutral site, that RPI doesn't sit at 21. I think they're, kind of in that 15, 16, 17, 18 range right now. You're 15 and 16, you're hosting. You're 17 and 18, you're going on the road.
Daniel Cabrera at the plate for LSU. Fouled that off of his foot. .12 home runs and 48 driven in for Cabrera. Reached base in 12 in a row, but the average hasn't been terribly impressive. 0 for 3 yesterday, but a walk. JT Ginn's 1-1. And Cabrera is saying to Darrell Arnold, if that's going to be a strike against that pitch, this is going to be a long day.
I'm not sure that's what he said. I'm sure there was a few cuss words in there too.
Whiff rate on the slider is 64%. Might be a little bit higher so far today. 4 strikeouts already for Ginn. Here's a comp for some teams hoping to host, including UC Santa Barbara, which, as we understand, has put in a bid to host at Las Vegas' new AAA ballpark.
I think this is kind of the group that LSU is going to be compared to right now. Now, what jumps out right away is against the RPI Top 50. Obviously, they played 35 games against the RPI Top 50, a winning record. Santa Barbara, just 3. There's a West Coast component of the RPI. There's not as many teams out there that are within it, but still, that's a big difference. And when you look at some of the teams that LSU has beat, they took 2 out of 3 from state on the road. That goes a long ways. Won 17 games during the regular season in this conference. That goes a long ways. Non-conference was not great for LSU, though.
Here's Zach Watson. We showed you what happened in that Texas series earlier, and Todd talked a little bit about it. If that was a normal Texas team, or even a good Texas team, like one that made it to Omaha last year, then
looks very
not only look different, but the math is different.
Yeah. Winning 2 out of 3 at home against Cal was a good win. Cal's probably going to get into the postseason.
Laid off the slider, and a count 1 ball 2 strikes from JT Ginn, who turned down $2.4 million from the Dodgers in last June's draft. And oddly enough, he was one of 4 first-rounders that turned down the big leagues at the time for college ball. That's not entirely true now. We'll talk a bit about Carter Stewart, who was originally committed to Mississippi State and didn't sign with the Braves. And even Hoagland, who threw earlier today for Ole Miss, same boat. Two balls and 2 strikes to Zach Watson. Ginn calling for it. He was a shortstop in high school, and no big deal. 6 up, 6 down. 15 pitches that time for Ginn.
Your cousin from Boston.
There's nothing like fall in New England. Nature's firecrackers. Friggin' majestic.
Marty, I told you not to work on your car in the parking lot.
We love our new home.
There's so much space.
But we have ants.
Expired. Expired. Expired.
It's a lot of house. I hope you can keep it clean.
At least Geico makes bundling our home and car insurance easy.
For bundling made easy, go to geico.com.
Still your best friend, and now your co-pilot. Still a father, but now a friend. Still an electric car, just more electrifying. Still a night out, but everything fits in. Still hard work, just a little easier. Still a legend, just more legendary. Chevrolet, making life's journey just better.
It's not just the ships, the armor, or aircraft. It's the will to fight and determination to win, found inside every Marine. Battles won.
At Emirates, we are proud that our promise is to provide a better flying experience to all.
1 inning pitched already for Clay Moffitt, making his 3rd career start at LSU in this elimination game. His dad familiar with big-time athletics. Previously a strength coach at both Tennessee and Miami, then hired by Nick Saban to come to LSU, their football strength and conditioning coordinator. He's really the godfather of all the great strength and conditioning coordinators within the SEC. I understand they have a group text chain, and in that they refer to him as your favorite strength coach's strength coach. Spent some time at John Curtis High School in New Orleans as a strength coach there. And might be a little bit nervous, so he doesn't show it. It's not uncommon before every LSU football game for him to grab a folding chair and destroy it. There's a great picture on their site before the Auburn game this year. Well, he looks like he's about to do things in the chair that Bobby Knight could only dream about. ball and a strike.
You snapper walk? You'd like a helmet thrower?
No, not really. Not really. And when I first got to the big leagues, that's what bothered me. Like, I'd go running back to the dugout. Wow, that was fun. You know?
After a strikeout?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm in the big leagues.
Yeah.
Dustin Skelton.
I had to learn to get mad.
Because nobody got you out before that. We're used to it.
Center cut fastball right there for Dustin Skelton. Just pops it into left field. Dad didn't like the location of that pitch. You're going to see a lot of fastballs from Moffitt. I mean, he's around the plate. He doesn't walk a whole lot of guys.
2-0 on the season, with a 2.65 ERA. He's the kind of like his dad is from a motivational standpoint. He's the rah-rah guy around this LSU team. A little intense.
Yeah, he looks like a football player, doesn't he? Football mentality. Don't make an error behind him.
His mom, Jill, was a swimmer at LSU. Grandpa, Bill Barron, as I said earlier, played football at Mississippi State. And Uncle Billy was a defensive tackle for Tennessee football. When he asked about attending LSU, he said simply, "I bleed purple and gold, and it's been a lifelong dream to become a Tiger and compete for a national championship." Left field, Daniel Cabrera, foul territory. Hustling grab against the wall. What a play by Cabrera. And Clay Moffitt could use every out he can get. That was a big one.
Well, we know Daniel Cabrera can really swing the bat. Watch the length of this run to get to this baseball. He sees the track coming. Got to navigate the wall. Keeps his eyes on the ball the whole time. Stays on his toes. His eyes aren't bouncing around. And nice play at the wall for Daniel Cabrera. With the concentration. Moffitt loves it.
Shortstop Jordan Westberg at the plate. Fastball in the outside corner for a strike. Westberg from New Braunfels, Texas. Just a sophomore. Had a great College World Series last year against North Carolina. Tied a College World Series record with 7 ribbies. He had a grand slam in the second inning, a 3-run double in the 8th. So after he came into the game, hitting .243 with only 1 home run.
Yeah, a lot of big-time experience for a lot of guys in this Mississippi State lineup. Westberg 1 for 145 in the month of May. That's why you see him down in the 7 hole.
He's one of the hardest hitting players in this Mississippi State team. For a long time, leading the squad in batted balls with 100-mile-per-hour exit velocity.
This was the guy coming into the season. If you talk to Mississippi State's coaching staff, that they said just watch him grow over the course of the year. The problem is there's been a lot of that. Been a lot of swing and miss. That's why they moved him down from the 2-hole to the 7-hole. Season's getting a little bit long right now. For Westberg, he didn't play every day last year. Played a lot towards the end of the year, but not early this year. Pushed over to the shortstop spot, but that's the 62nd strikeout of the year for Westberg on a curveball from Clay Moffitt.
And I think that's the key. He's having to hold down and learn the shortstop position. And when you're trying to separate the two, defense and offense, it makes it extremely difficult. When you start struggling, like Westberg has in the month of May, it's tough, and you carry it out on the field with you as well.
Breaking ball looking great for Moffitt now to the bottom half of the lineup. Luke Hancock swings and misses at it. One on and 2 out in the second. Nothing in 2.
He hasn't missed too many spots. I mean, the fastball to Skelton was right down the middle, but besides that, Moffitt's looked good in these first 2 innings.
Yeah, Rowdy Jordan, the 2-hole hitter in the first inning, walked on 4 pitches, but that's the only bat at bat that Moffitt has had.
Ball and 2 strikes now to Hancock. Trying to get Drew Bianco's attention at first. He wasn't holding the runner. He is now. Curveball looked at by Hancock, 2-2.
Haven't been over there a whole lot.
No.
Drew Bianco not originally in the starting lineup. 3-2 count. I think probably going to play behind it, but 1-2 count. We might want to keep him a little closer.
Scored the winning run yesterday from second base on a wild pitch. Here's the 2-2. Got him with the fastball. Clay Moffitt with back-to-back strikeouts. The catch by Daniel Cabrera in left field gave him some breathing room and some momentum. The curveball's been good. The fastball's been fantastic. Clay seemingly right where he needs to be in an LSU uniform in the SEC tournament with his dad Tommy fired up.
Now is the time for a new bath from Bathfitter. Every Bathfitter bath is installed quickly, safely, and beautifully with a lifetime warranty. Go from old to new, from worn to wow. The beautiful bath you've always wanted, done right, installed by one expert technician, all in one day. We've been creating moments like these for 35 years, and we're here to help you get started. Book your free virtual or in-home design consultation today.
Life can throw you a curve, send you down an unexpected path. But navigating the rocky moments is part of the adventure. To help you discover what's been missing.
Bandit! Why did you run off?
Introducing the 2021 Telluride Nightfall Edition.
JT Ginn, the freshman from Brandon, Mississippi, on the mound for Mississippi State. About a year ago, he was trying to figure out what he would be doing with his future. The Los Angeles Dodgers took him in the first round, and he turned down their offer of about $2.5 million. Was a 30th overall pick, and he has turned that into an SEC Freshman of the Year season. He is on a team that expects to return to Omaha, and with his pitching will be in a great spot to do so. Chris Reed to the plate for LSU. It's kind of an odd draft last June. 4 teams failed to sign contracts with their pick, and they'll get a compensation choice in this June's draft. The Braves failed to sign Carter Stewart, who was committed to Mississippi State as well. The Diamondbacks couldn't sign Matt McClain, and the Dodgers and Pirates were the other two. Gunnar Hoagland, who pitched today for Ole Miss, turned down the Pirates. How rare is that? Just 7 of the 259 first-rounders went unsigned in the previous 6 drafts. Why do you think it made sense for JT Ginn to turn down that kind of money in the Los Angeles Dodgers?
One reason is he's draft eligible his second year, and that doesn't happen for too many guys when they go to a 4-year college because of age. JT Ginn is a draft eligible sophomore. So you can go to state, hopefully, and improve your draft status. And then really you've got 2 years of leverage. I mean, if it works next year, goes higher in a position he wants to go, great, sign. If not, you can come back for your junior year and do it again. If he stays healthy, probably a pretty good financial decision. Because this has the stuff of a top 20, top 15 overall guy. And the further you go up in that first round, the more that slot value goes up significantly.
Line drive off the bat of Chris Reed. First hit of the game for LSU, and the senior trying to get the rally going was Saul Garza coming up. Funny how it all worked out, because Carter Stewart was drafted by the Braves, failed to sign for a lot of different reasons. That was a little bit more complicated at the time due to the medicals, and it got even more complicated and interesting this week, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. I mean, Carter Stewart did what I don't remember we have seen anybody do, Todd. I mean, as an amateur, signs with the Japanese league, and he signs a 6-year deal. So 6 years, $7 million guaranteed for Carter Stewart. He'll forgo the draft. He'll go to Japan and ultimately can be a free agent in 6 years. I'm intrigued by it because we haven't seen it before, and there's a pretty solid financial argument for it.
So Garza looks at a breaking ball for a strike.
So let's say, Carter Stewart was projected to go sandwich second round, somewhere in there. So let's just say he signs for $1.5 million. It's probably what it would have been. If he gets into a pro system, ultimately takes him 2 years at the absolute best to get to the big leagues, maybe 3. Major league minimum, I think, is $550,000 right now. Major League Baseball controls your salary for the first 3 years. So that's a 6-year process. If it takes 3 to get there, the first 3 in the big leagues, and assuming he signs for $1.5 million, he makes $3 million to $3.5 million. Then he's got 3 years of arbitration. He can't go anywhere. Goes to Japan, 6 years, guaranteed $7 million, becomes a free agent afterwards.
And has a choice.
And has a choice. You can stay and make money there. You could potentially come back here. You become a true free agent, so you're paid for what your true value is. It would not floor. If you're a top 5, top 10 overall pick, doesn't make sense because of what you're going to get on the front end. You start getting a little bit later than that, we'll see. I don't think Carter Stewart's going to be the last one to do this.
Carter, at age 25, then could join MLB via the posting system that's used to transfer players between the 2 leagues. Depends on the size of the contract negotiated with the MLB team, but if he comes out of there like he was projected by the Braves when they thought he was perfectly healthy, he'd be worth every penny. Pitch in the dirt, and Chris Reed reads the dirt ball to advance in a wild pitch. By the way, the reason Carter Stewart didn't sign with the Braves is they thought he had a wrist issue that affected his curveball, which is a plus pitch, one of the best spin rate curveballs that's ever been measured. So he went the junior college route, but there was a decent chance he was going to show up at Mississippi State.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
It's rare to get one first rounder that shows up on your campus. I don't remember anybody ever getting 2 out of high school that both showed up to the same school.
2-2 to Garza.
Think about that too. You're Chris Lemonis. You take the job. You know you got a pretty good club. You're looking at it saying, all right, we get 2 guys that win the first round. We're not going to get either one of them. Then you get one.
Yeah.
Which is, it's the best recruiting job you could possibly do when you can't really go out and recruit quite yet. And it's totally changed the face of this club. 46 wins in his first season at Mississippi State. Nobody in the history of this league has ever won more their first year.
So Garza's had a great tournament for LSU, awaiting the 2-2 from JT Ginn. Lemonis took over a program that had just been in Omaha. And Garza caught looking. 5th strikeout for Ginn. Chris, what did Chris Lemonis say to you about that situation with Ginn?
Well, he thought that he had hit the jackpot because he was sitting in the office with assistant coach Gautreau when he got the phone call from Ginn that he was going to turn down the draft and come to school. And at that point, Lemonis knew that Carter wasn't going to sign and thought, well, hey, I've only been here a couple days. I hit the jackpot. I'm getting 2 first rounders. Obviously, we know what happened with Stewart, and he said, at least I got 1. That's why they kept around Gautreau, is because he had been here and had been part of the recruiting process and had built that relationship.
Brant Broussard at the plate now. You'd also keep around Jake Gautreau because he's a darn good coach.
Yep, and he's going to be a darn good head coach here before long.
To finish that thought too, you wonder how much time that these coaches spend on a first rounder, right? Everybody wants them. They obviously got talent, but you think you might lose them. So you've got to fill those spots if in fact you do lose them. And I just wonder how much time you spend going after guys like that, and the recruiting idea of who you go after.
So what you're saying is you've invested, if you go after a guy like that, a lot of time and energy in one player who might be a coin flip as to whether or not he gets to campus.
And if you're a first rounder, I don't even know if it's coin flip. They probably lose 80-90% of those guys.
Well, it'd be a lot of coins.
A lot of
It is, yeah. I think it's one of the hardest things about recruiting in college baseball. College football, college basketball, you don't have to worry about it. You're signing classes, they're going to show up. College baseball doesn't mean they're going to show up. And the other thing you don't know is how many guys in your current club are going to sign. Look at LSU. Guys that could have signed last year that came back. Zach Watson, Antoine Duplantis. Could have signed last year. and had a chance, and both are going to be pretty good signs this year. But still, you're balancing. We want to get really good high school guys, but not too good. Because if they're too good and we don't get any of them, now we've got no recruiting class.
And that was my point.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Jake Mangum on the other side, senior, and I mean it is tough. Yeah, absolutely. I think you're seeing more of that though. More juniors are coming back for their senior year. I don't know if you lose enough bargaining power like you would 20 years ago.
Another very important factor with JT Ginn, he grew up going to state games and watching Mississippi State baseball. He was excited about the new stadium. He wanted to be part of a great class. And as he told us this week, it's a no-lose. Nolan Kane, good hands. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, Brant Broussard broke his thumb last year. Had a really hot start to the season. And after that, he just hasn't seen the same. Hit .234 this year. That little kid is everybody's best friend right now.
What's the glove situation?
Oh, we're going to talk. You know what, though? I mean, that's a pretty good recovery. Don't have it on, just spin it over with the other hand.
Did the best he could without being prepared. But, yeah, if you got the glove, you might as well use it. Really good command of the inside fastball for JT Ginn. I'm not sure Garza was trying to hit it to the right side to move the runner over, but he wasn't going to be able to do it on the pitch he struck him out on.
Broussard rips it down the line. Reed around third. He'll score with these. Throw finally came in, and it's a run-scoring double for Brant Broussard out of the 9-hole for LSU.
Hey, P, that's just going to the well too many times. Brant Broussard was expecting that fastball on the inside part of the plate. The guy in front of him, Saul Garza, got struck out on that pitch. Brant Broussard saw a few fastballs in, guessed right, and rips it down the left field line for a double.
There it is, two-seamer. You can see the grip, has good action, and you're right. If he's set up for that pitch, probably a little bit different. But it seemed maybe 3 in a row where they were trying to go fastball elevated in. Broussard spins on it. Tigers strike first.
Back to the top of the order, and Josh Smith. He was 2 for 8 in the 17-inning game. A game that LSU trailed 4-0. After 3. Got a pair in the 5th and a 2-run dramatic home run from DiGiacomo in the 8th to send us to extras. And in that game, in the 16th inning, it was a little foggy for us, but we thought we were going home until Brant Broussard misplayed a ball in the bottom half of the inning. They ruled it an error. I know you guys think it probably should have been a hit, but Broussard trying to make up for that misplay in the field with an RBI single here.
No, I thought it was an error.
Oh, I was tired. I thought we had decided that he would have been safe even if he did pick it up. No?
I thought that was the Mangum ball, yeah.
You also said you weren't afraid of heights.
Yeah.
And then you said you were. So
we all huddled together and made the decision for me that I am, in fact, afraid of all Ferris wheels.
Runner goes. Smith looks at a strike. And they don't even bother to throw to third. Broussard's 9th stolen base in 14 tries.
Well done by Brant Broussard. He timed up JT again. Usually you're not trying to steal third with a left-handed hitter at the plate. It gives a clean lane for the catcher, but he took off way early and no throw against Brant Broussard, and that's a good risk with 1 out.
Ginn is so slow to home plate with a guy on second. I mean, checks, head turns, and it's a really, really significant leg raise and takes his time. With Broussard's speed, I mean, there's no chance you're going to throw him out there.
Right side, that'll get a run home. Broussard scores. Smith comes up with an RBI single. 6 lefties in the lineup. Are we seeing more changeups from Ginn than he's used to throwing?
Yeah, we saw it early. I mean, he showed Josh Smith one his first at bat. This time he shows him another one, and Josh Smith, second time around, had already seen the pitch. And I know the scouting report coming in is more fastball slider, but LSU, 5 of the 9 in this lineup today are left-handers. So you're going to see a few more changeups from JT Ginn. It's his 3rd best pitch, and Josh Smith put a good swing on that one.
Second home indeed. A record 12 SEC tournament titles. And that's Smith's 7th hit here in Hoover. And so an early visit to Ginn, who struggled against LSU the first time he faced him this year. Season high for the freshman, 6 runs, 5 of them earned over 5 innings on March 29th. He did strike out 9 though. Ginn's pitched in front of some big crowds obviously already this season, especially with the new ballpark in Starkville, but this is a little bit different.
Wants to name his kids after B-Dub sauces. Hope you want a whole litter, because we've got 26 sauces and seasonings. So gas up the minivan, because Mango Habanero has a dentist appointment, and Honey Barbecue is late for ballet. Buffalo Wild Wings, now with free delivery.
After being a part of millions of love stories, at K, we believe that nothing should get in the way of love. Get 20 to 40% off all engagement, wedding, and anniversary rings. Only at K Jewelers.
If I could, maybe I'd give you my world. How can I, when you won't take it from me? You can go your own way, go your own way.
Your wireless, your rules. Only with Xfinity Mobile.
Not just the fans in the stands, but the stage. Facing a program that's used to some tournament magic. Under Paul Maneri's 6 tournament titles and 19 comeback wins, including both of them so far this season.
You know, you mentioned the 5 lefties in LSU's lineup. They hit that 4-hole a lot, and you just don't see a lot of teams shifting on this LSU team. I think you're going to see it start to happen. I don't know if you necessarily move the shortstop to the right side of the bag, but that second baseman has to get in that 4-hole for all these lefties.
Shift wouldn't have stopped Giovanni DiGiacomo, his 8th inning home run a couple of days ago against Mississippi State. First home run for the freshman came at a perfect time.
And he crushed it. Look at the location of that baseball, up and in to DiGiacomo. Not a lot of pop. He can swing it and he can run. But that ball, like you said, cruel joke to us 17 innings later.
What time of the morning did he hit that home run?
I don't know if it was morning yet. Wasn't it the 8th?
That was inning? In the regular part of the game, yeah. 8th inning.
1-1. So LSU had a quick turnaround. I mean, consider that they played that 17-inning game and then the wild comeback yesterday, all in the span of less than 24 hours. Game-tying 2-run home run in the 8th. That was 11 o'clock Central Time Wednesday. And then go-ahead sack fly in the 16th came at 2:27 a.m. We didn't just break the record, we shattered the record. Longest game in SEC history. Would have had time to both pop the champagne and finish it. 2-1 to DiGiacomo.
I'm watching, might have thought we did.
Yeah, fair. LSU spent more than 9 hours on the field in a 19-hour span.
And this is the game we talked about. You know, they didn't get much rest, came back and looked pretty good yesterday. But it's not the next day that affects you, it's the day after. That's tonight's game. And well, they look pretty good so far. 2 runs already.
One out walk from Ginn. He's allowed 3 hits and a walk here in the 3rd. And that is his first walk issued tonight. Efficient through the first 2 and now trouble. Antoine Duplantis coming up. What does that feel like as a pitcher?
It's not great. It's not great. You don't really want to look. I mean, once they call timeout, you know what's going on here. I mean, so many bullpens guys are already out there. You can get there without anybody seeing you. Not Hoover, though. You got to run across the field to get there. Tristan Barlow, the lefty, was one that went down there. Riley Self, 14, the righty.
Wouldn't you be a little aware of that if you were the coach, though? Send them through the concourse and out the other side? I mean, you're right. JT's got to be looking at that going.
Yeah. Tell you what, though, I mean, it'll get you going a little bit.
Oh, yeah?
It's you don't – he wants to stay out there. So I think sometimes it can work, but you're aware of it. You're not too excited about it, but at the same time, you kind of want to stay a little bit longer.
Antoine Duplantis just 3 for 15 this week in Hoover. Eight hits away from the school by Eddie Furness, which was an SEC record until Jake Mangum passed him. 7 to tie Furness, 8 to pass him. Already an SEC record for bats for Antoine Duplantis. 1,076, 3rd most in the country. This guy has seen a lot of pitches in his college career.
Already seen LSU steal 3rd once in this inning. Josh Smith, good speed, standing on 2nd, 16 stolen bases. Again, a little bit quicker to home plate than he was when Broussard was out there. It's a different cadence when there's a guy in 2nd instead of when there's a guy in 1st for Ginn.
A lot quicker, and right when he turned away from looking at second base, he threw the ball. Like when I was a runner at second base, I was looking for that pitcher to look at me and then give a pause before he let the ball go to home plate. And if he does that, that's when you can take 3rd base.
There he goes. Ginn steps off the rubber, wheels back to 1st, had no play because 3rd wasn't covered by Gilbert, I don't think.
And there it was. You saw him look and then go back and pause, and that's what they were waiting on. Josh Smith takes off. The problem was Gilbert wasn't ready for it, and Josh Smith cruises on in. The other issue is over at first base, DiGiacomo wasn't paying attention. You usually look at the runner in front of you and follow him. Watch JT again right here. He looks and then he looks home and he gives that pause, and that's what Josh Smith saw, and that's why he took off for 3rd base.
Gilbert's got to be breaking right there because ultimately, if you're State, you got exactly what you wanted. They were trying to go inside move. They thought there was a chance Josh Smith was running, but if you're going to pick a guy off, your 3rd baseman's got to be standing at 3rd base. Josh Smith didn't break stride.
Ripped through the right side. Smith will walk home. DiGiacomo on his way to 3rd. Throw from Hatcher is up the line. Antoine Duplantis takes advantage, and LSU has opened up a 3-0 lead.
Yet another lefty who takes advantage of that 4-hole over on the right side. Watch right here. JT again flips that curveball up in there and hangs it. Duplantis rips it down the right side. Any of these off-speed pitches that these lefties are going to get, they're going to hit it right there if it doesn't go out of the ballpark. And now LSU in business, 1st and 3rd with only 1 out.
And mentally, this has to be taxing again. He was obviously unhappy with Gilbert not covering the bag a moment ago.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have guys on 1st and 3rd right now. I mean, they should have had Reed picked off, or not Reed, they should have had Smith picked off, ran and really got the outcome that they wanted right there. Instead, he's standing at third base, scores easily on the Duplantis single.
Drew Bianco at the plate. Breaking ball hit to third, to second for 1. Foscue can't get it. It gets all the way into right field. And Mississippi State coming unglued in the 3rd.
Well, Giovanni DiGiacomo makes a mistake. He doesn't take off. You want those guys to throw it home to try to get you to stay out of the double play. DiGiacomo stays put, as you see right there. They try to turn the double play. It's off the mark, and LSU gets another run. Ball's low and to the right. You've got to break down if you're Foscue and be able to handle that baseball. You're not going to be able to turn 2 on a bad throw, but at least you can handle the throw and get the force at second. And this is the one thing you talk about with Mississippi State. They flat out rake and they can pitch, but one issue there is probably defense.
How about that conversation? JT Ginn seems to be up for the challenge. Shrugging his shoulders despite everything that's happened in this frame. Confidence as Skelton gives him a shove. Barlow and Spring both seemingly ready.
I got one.
This might be the hardest pitch of the night from JT Ginn right here.
Yeah, he may let this one go. Good job by Skelton to go out there and just slow everything down and also give his bullpen enough time to work. Scott Foxhall's already come to the mound in this inning, so if there's a visit from the dugout, they have to take Ginn out. Skelton there, veteran move just to let your pen get ready.
And goes to the slider for a swing and a miss.
Anytime you get a guy on first base, too, it's a big advantage. I mean, they did have 6 lefties in this lineup. Beloso's a late scratch, but you got first base holding him on. Second baseman has to play in double play depth. There's a huge hole on the right side. So any off speed, like I just said, they're going to be able to pin that hole. You would think JT Ginn would throw a lot of fastballs right here.
Daniel Cabrera, the 8th batter of the inning for LSU. Breaking ball blocked by Skelton. With the 1 out, Brant Broussard drove home Reed with a double. Since then, single walk, single with an error, and a stolen base mixed in for good measure. Sinker for a strike, 1 and 2. Duplantis at third, Bianco at first. Nice block by Skelton. Chris
Lamonis told me before the game that this was kind of a similar situation the last time these two teams met and Ginn was on the mound. They had a couple errors, 2 of them, gave up 5 earned runs. LSU ended up putting 10 on the board that game.
His first 2 innings, I mean, he was as good as you could ask anybody to be. Faced the minimum, struck out 4. Different story this inning.
LSU would come back to score 11 in the final game of that series, outscoring State 21-7 over the last 2 games to take the 3-game set back in late March. Full count to Cabrera. "35th pitch of the inning for JT Ginn. Runner will walk to second. regardless, because it was a walk to Cabrera.
You got to go get him now. Pitch count's up there enough. 35 in this inning after 23 in the first 2 innings. Bullpen is ready. You want to make sure Ginn's ready to go next weekend.
Head coach Chris Lemonis. The heralded freshman struggled. His mistakes and his teammates combined to chase him in the third with only 1 out.
I've browsed 8 sites for divorce attorneys today.
I browsed 8 sites for divorce attorneys today.
I love working with you.
Me too.
Red heart emoji.
Blue heart emoji.
I hate Lee though.
Puke emoji.
Puke emoji.
My heart rate is currently 150, 151, and back down to 150.
On March 15th, I purchased prenatal vitamins and 4 pregnancy tests.
The number on my credit card is 0237 1221 0765.
If I could, maybe I'd give you my world. How can I, when you won't take it from me? You can go your own way, go your own way.
Your wireless, your rules. Only with Xfinity Mobile.
Connor wants to name his kids after B-Dub sauces. Hope you want a whole litter, because we've got 26 sauces and seasonings. So gas up the minivan, because Mango Habanero has a dentist appointment, and Honey Barbecue is late for ballet. Buffalo Wild Wings, now with free delivery.
Jack Daniel's Tennessee Apple. Pick boldly.
Third inning's been an adventure for Mississippi State. LSU got him on the heels with a Brant Broussard run-scoring double. And then Josh Smith ripped one in for a base hit to drive home another run. DeGiacomo was walked. Duplantis torched one to right. That brought home a run. Then State had a chance for a double play, and Marshall Gilbert threw the ball into right field. Be a run-scoring fielder's choice for Drew Bianco. 2 for 22 with runners in scoring position over the last 2 games. 3 for 5 tonight. Of the 2 for 14, they are only 1 for 14 risk in the first game this week against State.
Let's go, Wayne, let's go!
Every run matters. Fewest runs per game in the SEC tournament. Just 7 runs per game, second fewest all time behind 2012's 6.3. Zach Watson, the 9th batter of the inning for LSU, comes to the plate with Bianco at second, Cabrera at first. Ole Miss and Georgia will meet in one semifinal. The winner of this one will match up with the regular season champs Vandy. JT Ginn, 58 pitches, only 2 1/3 innings.
Tyler Spring really hunting the strikeout right here. Zach Watson's going to be hard to double up. So if he puts it in play, that's at least 1 more run for LSU.
Tyler Spring 1-0 on the year. This is just his 10th appearance. LSU's trying to reach the semis for the 7th straight season. They've played in 4 of the 6 championship games since the tournament expanded in 2013.
2-0 slider with the bases loaded just coming out of the bullpen. That's
gutsy, right?
See that one a lot.
And the 3-0 fastball misses. Duplantis jogs home. And Chris Reed will come to the plate again here in the third.
Yeah, Chris Reed started this off with a base hit in the right field.
Senior Chris Reed may just be governor someday of the great state of Louisiana. Might have to beat out Foster Morrow, the former LSU tight end, though. And he loves his LSU faithful. His Twitter account's a fun one. Before the game, he said, "I want to match the energy the LSU fan that we just passed. It was double fisting at 11 in the morning." After the game, remember he was at the plate when they scored the game-winning run. I matched his energy.
Yes.
And all he had to do was direct the traffic. I knew that tweet would get your attention, KP. It was right up your alley.
Nothing wrong with an 11 a.m. gamer.
It's an 11 a.m. gamer after shutting it down the night before. At 3 a.m.
Big strikeout for Tyler Spring again. Any ball put in play really would turn into another run for LSU. 2 fastballs and the curveball, and Reed sits down.
So see if he can build on it with Saul Garza at the plate. Bases loaded for LSU. Five runs, 4 hits for the Tigers. No runs on a hit and 1 error for Mississippi State. And an LSU pitching staff that has been depleted over the last couple of games. And they're giving Clay Moffitt more and more wiggle room.
Fastball count, nowhere to put him, and Saul Garza takes a massive hack. 12 for his last 24. This guy's been red hot.
31st round pick of the Cardinals coming out of high school in Edinburgh, Texas. Line drive right field. Hatcher handles it, but not before LSU pushes across 5 runs on 4 hits thanks to an error and 3 stranded. We'll get Paul Maneri's thoughts about it with Chris after this.
We started Kettle Brand from the back of a borrowed van. A van that changed us and chips forever. So thanks, Keeper of the Keys, for a chance to chase organic honey, barrel-aged bourbon, and mouth-puckering pepperoncini. Because of that van, and because of everybody who loves to crunch like we do, we ramble on, knowing that caring for your taste buds and the planet they hail from is no small potatoes. Kettle Brand chips. No small flavors, no small potatoes.
Abby says she wants to marry a B-Dubs honey barbecue wing. We get the sweet, tangy allure of honey barbecue sauce, but you can't marry a chicken wing. What are you going to serve at the wedding? Their family? 26 sauces and seasonings, now with free delivery.
If I could, maybe I'd give you my world. How can I, when you won't take it from me? Go your own way, go your own way.
Your wireless, your rules. Only with Xfinity Mobile.
Welcome back. I'm joined with LSU head coach Paul Mainieri. And Coach, what did you see out of JT Ginn that you were able to take advantage of that last half?
Well, I'll tell you what, the first 2 innings, we probably had the 6 worst at-bats that you could possibly have. He dominated us for the first 2 innings. And then Broussard came through with a big double there to drive in the first run. And after that, we just had a bunch of good at-bats. I wish we would have finished off the inning there. We had the bases loaded, 1 out, and couldn't finish it off, though.
With Moffitt back out there, how much more you think you can get out of him?
Let's hope he gets through this inning, and then we'll go from there.
Appreciate it.
All right, Chris, thanks. 30 pitches thus far from Clay Moffitt. This team's dialed in. Marshall Gilbert in the leadoff spot. Moffitt allowed a leadoff single to Dustin Skelton in the second, then got that fantastic catch from Daniel Cabrera in foul territory before striking out Westberg and Hancock. From Kenosha, Wisconsin.
That ball's got good action on it, KP.
Yeah, when it's down in the zone right there, that one really took off. For LSU, I know Paul Mainieri said, let's just see if he can get through this one. You just want Moffitt to go out there and throw 8 strikes at this point. Fill up strike zone. If State's going to get back in this one, make them bang their way to do it.
Yeah, that's right. It's still early in this game, but the theory is, you know, down by 5, especially in this league, they don't come back unless you start kicking the ball around, start walking people. Marshall Gilbert, the 9-hole.
Heat is on Mississippi State. It is 87 degrees in Birmingham. It's 57 in Kenosha right now. That sounds pleasant, doesn't it? Gilbert flies out to right. Developing situation for LSU. Brant Broussard has left the game.
I didn't see anything. Did you see anything?
Hal Hughes takes over at second base.
He stole third. He might have jammed up that thumb again.
Left wrist heavily taped. He's already peeled some of the tape off. Pitch in the dirt to Jake Mangum. Chris?
I was watching Broussard, and they're looking at the inside of his forearm, and that's all I know. As soon as I get more information, I'll let you guys know.
All right. Nice going on the elbow.
Yeah, the main thing there is he'd be able to swing the bat. I think he just wouldn't be able to throw. A lot of times, I was a left-handed hitter. A lot of times, you know, you get popped on that right elbow. You know, you could live through the pain. I could swing the bat, but just couldn't throw. And because of that, Brant Broussard's out of the game.
Mangum looks at a strike 2-1. This is one of the most patient at-bats we've seen from him all week.
I think after 12 or 13 at-bats he's had in this tournament already, he's decided to be a little more patient.
I would say, though, I mean, the last at-bat was a pretty good sign. I mean, that ball really well to left center field, stayed on that ball. Watson able to run it down, but still, it was when Mangum's used in every part of the field is when he can really go.
2 for 12 this week for State. Saw 2 pitches in his first plate appearance. This will be the 5th of this one.
You can bet he's going right here, though.
Wasn't he using the opposite field when he broke our camera during batting practice?
No, he was hitting right-handed then.
Oh, of course. Reaches on a 1-out walk. Second walk from Moffitt. He walked Rowdy Jordan on 4 straight pitches in the first inning, and at that point, Dead Tommy a little bit nervous in the stands, and he thought, uh-oh, how's Clay Moffitt going to work out of this? head strength and conditioning coach for Ed Ogeron's football team. And now Rowdy Jordan coming to play. Tommy was nice enough to allow our football broadcast crew to use the weight room when we were last there a couple years ago.
How much weight did you throw up?
Well, it's funny, you know, typical football weekend, there are guys in there on a Friday doing real work, the guys that are redshirting or not playing, and he's in there working them hard. I shook his hand. I thanked him for the use of the weight room, and I said, well, now where would the elliptical be, sir?
They have one?
Yeah, they got a little coaches section, I think it is, like up on the second deck and back in the corner.
We'll need a few towels too, please.
I didn't have the heart to tell him I was really only there for the smoothie. I was wearing earphones, not because I wanted to listen to music, but I didn't want to hear Cole Kubelik grunt anymore. Aaron George getting loose for LSU. They might throw some guys today, haven't thrown a whole lot over the course of this season.
Yeah, this is not good. Like I said, up by 5. He walks Jake Mangum. Now behind the count to Rowdy Jordan, 3-1. That's you've got that big of a lead. Again, Mississippi State, even though they're the best hitting team in the conference, they have a tough time catching up. But you start walking guys, it's a sign of trouble.
Third walk, second consecutive. Getting ready for the weekend and the SEC semifinals tomorrow. They'll be featured on SEC Inside, an all-access pass to the tournament. Never before seen footage and sounds from the semifinals and championship game. That's SEC Inside, May 29th, 7 Eastern, right here on the SEC Network, and also streaming live on the ESPN app. It's too bad they weren't here for the 17-inning game. They would have gotten some unwanted footage and sounds. Paul Maneri was hoping Clay Moffitt could get him through the third. Doesn't look like that's going to happen.
If I could, maybe I'd give you my world. How can I when you won't take it from me? You can go your own way, go your own way.
Your wireless, your rules. Only with Xfinity Mobile.
We started Kettle Brand from the back of a borrowed van. A van that changed us and chips forever. So thanks, Keeper of the Keys, for a chance to chase organic honey, barrel-aged bourbon, and mouth-puckering pepperoncini. Because of that van, and because of everybody who loves to crunch like we do, we ramble on, knowing that caring for your taste buds and the planet they hail from is no small potatoes. Kettle Brand chips. No small flavors, no small potatoes.
Clay Moffitt doing his best MJ. Got a chance to start today for LSU. And his dad Tommy shouting encouragement from the stands. He's earned a lollipop. 2 1/3, a hit. But consecutive walks take him out of the game. And he hands the ball off to Aaron George. LSU hasn't lost a game this season where they led by more than 3 runs. 5-0 lead here with Tanner Allen up. 6'5", 232 from Monroe, Louisiana. 2-1, an ERA north of 7. The big strikeout numbers, 49 and 23 2/3. Through the left side hole. Mangum around third. He'll sprint home. RBI single Tanner Allen.
2 walks to start the inning, and you can't do that against this offense. Tanner Allen coming up, who's been on fire for the last 3 weeks for Mississippi State. Infield push to the right side, not a full shift, but Josh Smith was playing well towards the second base bag, and Allen goes the other side, State's on the board.
In their history, LSU has only lost 2 SEC tournament games after leading by 5 or more runs. Last time coming in 1996, led Kentucky 8-2, lost 12-11. In 95, led Bama 5-0, lost 9-8. Were those your teams?
Yes, sounds right.
I was going to ask you what you remember from either one of those games, but I'm guessing that might be a futile attempt.
I didn't hear what you
covering.
said.
Okay, that's fair.
I tune you out often, although we had a good night last night.
This guy turned into a 17-inning game. 1-1. LSU in 95 lost a 5-0 lead against Alabama in this tournament. Against Kentucky in 96 lost an 8-2 lead in the SEC tournament. That was what I said. You and my wife have a lot in common. So 2-1 now to Justin Foscue.
We both love you, though.
I've seen more of you lately than her. 14 home runs for Foscue. Danger zone, right, KP?
Yeah, it is right here, especially this part of the lineup.
Kicked away from Garza. Nobody will take a chance.
Let's State back in this thing. It goes advantage State real quick because the bullpen depth is definitely better on Mississippi State's side right now than it is on LSU's side.
There's ball 4. Third walk of the inning for this LSU pitching staff, which by the time we're done here today, might be featuring some guys that haven't been on the mound very often. Possible guys to throw tonight, according to Paul Maneri to Chris Button. Drew Bianco might see the mound. Chris Reed and Cade Beloso are all candidates that toe the rubber for LSU. Ben McDonald's happy that he left the ballpark because they might have tapped him on the shoulder. Best I can tell, none of those guys have thrown this season. That one gets away from Garza. Rowdy Jordan didn't want to gamble.
Yeah, right decision right there by Rowdy Jordan. You're down 4. If that gets all the way to the backstop and you can walk in, that's one thing, but gets away from Garza. George was immediately coming home. You can't take that chance now.
Aaron George drops a 2-1 curve on Foscue, misses by a lot. There's another curveball in the dirt. I think at this point, up by 4, you got to just throw fastballs.
Spiked that one and Garza blocked it. 2-0. Big one.
There's nobody down there. I mean, this one's Aaron George's for a little bit right now, just based on LSU and what they had to do to get to this point. We saw the 3 position players that could potentially pitch tonight for LSU, but they need some outs out of Aaron George to have a chance here.
2-2. Two grand slams already this season for Skelton. If he catches one here, this place is going to go bonkers. Flicked into right center field. Watson won't get to it in time. Jordan has scored. Tanner Allen will stop at third. And Mississippi State moves him over and moves him in.
He actually made his pitch there.
Yeah, it was a nice pitch. Nice job by Skelton, just putting a bat on the baseball and putting it out in the opposite field gap. The fact that he hit off the end didn't allow Zach Watson to be able to make a play.
Seventh batter of the inning for State is Josh Hatcher. Fastball low. Breaking ball high.
Settling down on his way out right now. Chase Costello of the LSU bullpen. I think now is, you simplify. Sit right down the middle of the plate and let's just see if we can throw strikes. Don't try to get no corners, no in out. Just let that thing go down the middle and see if they'll hit it at somebody and get out of here.
Yeah, and that's a bad spot to be in. You got the bases loaded, 2-0 count, but I agree at this point, there's no other options. You just have to throw fastballs.
Finally, action in the LSU bullpen. Chase Costello. Doesn't really do you much good to be in a hurry to get to Costello, though. Aaron George, single walk single, is yet to record an out. (3-0).
Hatcher's taking at least one here.
Comeback's the name of the game in college baseball today. North Carolina trailed 5-0 to Miami in the ACC tournament. Came back to beat them 7-5 and 11. Tar Heels move on to the ACC semifinals. We'll have the championship game on ESPN2 on Sunday prior to our championship. Full count. Hatcher flew out to foul territory, and Daniel Cabrera on a hustling play his first time up. Payoff pitch. Fastball for strike three called. She almost ran out of K's the other day, but she can hang George's first now.
That was pretty dirty. Aaron George has been predominantly on the outside corner. For Josh Hatcher, he's looking out over the plate. Aaron George just buries that fastball in the inside corner for strike three.
And so Jordan Westberg trying to break out of a Hoover slump. 1 for 12 with 5 strikeouts. To the plate with the bases loaded and 2 down in the third. Upstairs. Tournament has been dominated by pitching. This one looks like it's going to buck the trend. 2-0. Might end up with a gorilla ball type final score. To short, Smith from behind the runner. And LSU only allows 2 runs. Could have been a lot worse. 5-2. Tigers through 3.
Oh, office work. Can't get hurt by you. Ah!
Sorry, just testing the range.
Archer, Wednesdays at 10 on FXX. Now streaming FX on Hulu.
We started Kettle Brand from the back of a borrowed van. A van that changed us and chips forever. So thanks, Keeper of the Keys, for a chance to chase organic honey, barrel-aged bourbon, and mouth-puckering pepperoncini. Because of that van, and because of everybody who loves to crunch like we do, we ramble on, knowing that caring for your taste buds and the planet they hail from is no small potatoes. Kettle Brand chips. No small flavors, no small potatoes.
After being a part of millions of love stories, at K, we believe that nothing should get in the way of love. Get 20 to 40% off all engagement, wedding, and anniversary rings. Only at K Jewelers.
At Emirates, we are proud that our promise is to provide a better flying experience to all our customers.
But today, fly better does not just mean showers and bars above the clouds, as well as wonderful in-flight service.
As routes slowly open up and our...
That's with our favorite umpire in the SEC.
So, how you doing, bro? Long time no see, man. Oh, dude, loving them. You got to get some top coat.
Yeah, it started chipping already. It's first inning.
Dude, my girlfriend's here now. I promise. I'll get her to hook you up. Nah, it was a strike. I tell you what, man. I'll go get in better shape in the offseason. We'll arm wrestle over it.
All right.
That's good. Darrell Arnold behind the plate chatting with Saul Garza. Paul Gillier and his guys doing a fantastic job. It's a packed house in the replay booth. Hi, Paul.
Yeah,
there he is.
Tom.
Hey, we got sound and everything.
Yeah, Bill's trying to call me on the phone at the same time. Very popular.
Hey, Paul, don't be afraid to share some of those hats. I mean, every time I see you get a new hat, you get a new SEC shirt. We haven't seen anything in here. I don't know if you hit them or what.
Very good resources in the league. Resources are very well distributed.
You guys have a prize closet down there or something?
Not here. We're in the man cave. You know, we've got it roped off, trying to keep everything where we can focus in on the task at hand.
Hey, since we have you, a big change for the SEC this year, going to the coordinated replay out of Birmingham. How did that work out this season?
According to everybody we spoke to, including the coaches, they gave us a very good passing grade. I won't say how high that grade was, but we were very pleased with it. We ran some 400-plus replays out of the video center each week, obviously, but for the year, some 400-plus. And actually sped the game up, we believe. We averaged about 1 minute and 30 seconds per replay.
Pretty good. A+ in my book. We'll see you around the ballpark.
You got it, guys. Thanks.
Paul Gillier. I didn't know we were going to do a celebrity call-in in the middle of the game.
It's outstanding.
All of the coordinator of officials throughout the SEC do such a good job of being transparent with us, the broadcasters, so then we can share that information with the fans. And the SEC is out in front of so many different things, but I really, truly appreciate that and think it's a great service, not to us, but to us as the voice of the fans, to present the information they need to understand. Hal Hughes' first plate appearance after replacing Brent Broussard, and he draws a leadoff walk. Gillier Worked this tournament 20 times, including 17 straight from 98 to 14. And Tony Walsh holds the all-time record, and he's back here again.
Adding to it.
Yeah, 23rd consecutive season for Tony Walsh. He's out at second base tonight. Josh Smith is 1 for 2. What was your relationship with umpires like when you were playing, KP?
For the most part, it was pretty good.
Did you ever get tossed?
I got tossed twice in the minor leagues coaching first base.
That was it. Of course you did.
Yeah, it had been a rough night the night before on the mound.
Okay.
Not otherwise. And just want to clarify. And had a few discussions and was told that I could leave a little bit early. I think it was $50. I think you got thrown at it and you had to pay the manager's fine. He got fined, so it was 50 times 2. So that was meal money for about a month in the minor leagues.
Not the most prudent financial decision. Mississippi State's going back to the bullpen. They'll have the second reliever of the game after this.
If I could, maybe I'd give you my world. How can I, when you won't take it from me? You can go your own way, go your own way.
Your wireless, your rules. Only with Xfinity Mobile.
After being a part of millions of love stories, at K, we believe that nothing should get in the way of love. Get 20 to 40% off all engagement, wedding, and anniversary rings. Only at K Jewelers.
At Emirates, we are proud that our promise is to provide a better flying experience to all our customers.
But today, fly better does not just mean showers and bars above the clouds, as well as wonderful in-flight service.
As routes slowly open up and our
You are watching the SEC Network. Due to time constraints, we move you ahead in our coverage.
Have fun, kiddos.
5-2, LSU leading Mississippi State. Special season for the Duplantis brothers. It is gone! A 3-run shot for Antoine Duplantis.
19.8 1/4 for a collegiate record.
You know, I had my brother to hype me up. You know, I didn't want to be the second best athlete in the family after him in that 3-run Yavo shot against Arkansas in the 8th.
Same town and similar results, and that might be the swing that turned LSU's season around. Mondo Duplantis doesn't lack for swag or confidence, and typically this LSU baseball team doesn't either, but it looked like they reclaimed it that day in Fayetteville.
Well, they needed to, too, because Arkansas beat them the first 2. It looked like they were going to sweep LSU, but that 3-run home run allowed LSU to take the final game of that series. 17-13 overall in the league. They won 2 out of 3 at home against Auburn to finish the regular season slate. And that D1Baseball.com projection has them at a 2 seed right now. A win today. RPI is going to move up at least 2 or 3 slots. You're getting a little bit closer. Strength of schedule can only get better. It's not going to get worse. And obviously, they had a win against the top 50. And they're right on the edge.
There's a top 8 national seeds according to D1 Baseball.
I think those 4 from the SEC are rock solid. They're not going anywhere. State can lose this game. They're a top 8 national seed. It matters because then you control your destiny to host until Omaha.
So Riley Self has entered the game for Mississippi State, 6'4" right-hander from Coldwater, Mississippi. 20th appearance. Third reliever in the game following the starter JT Ginn. This is already the 3rd trip through the batting order for LSU. And we're only in the 4th. Drew Bianco is 0 for 2. He was a late addition to the batting order after Cade Beloso was scratched with a wrist injury. And since then, Brant Broussard, the second baseman, has left the game with an elbow injury. Bases loaded for Bianco. Hughes at third, DiGiacomo at second, and Duplantis at first. Line drive towards the gap. Mangum on the run, lays out, got it. And he fires it back in to save extra bases. But Bianco drives in another as Hughes comes home on the sac fly.
That was impressive. Already the SEC hit king Jake Mangum with a great jump on this ball. Bianco crushes this ball in the left center gap. If that gets by him, that's 3 runs. Jake Mangum makes the play for the second out. Wow, look at the layout. Loses his Oakleys, keeps his concentration. Bianco can't believe it.
Why would he need sunglasses at this point at night?
That's a great question.
Looks cool.
You're related to Corey Hart, right?
Yes. I wrote all of his music. He performed it. Here's Daniel Cabrera. Cabrera has struck out and walked. Ball in the strike now.
Self goes in, comes in the ballgame. You know about what you're going to get. I mean, it's everything for the most part is going to move glove side. A lot of cutters, a lot of sliders. Which means it's moving back in towards the barrel of Cabrera. You got to be careful here. If that one hangs up in the zone and is coming back in there, Cabrera make this a 9-2 game pretty quick.
Pulled it through the right side and past Foskew's playing well over towards first base. DiGiacomo will scamper home to add to LSU's lead.
Mississippi State tries to cover that 4-hole on lefty with the off speed. Justin Foscue, you can't even see him in the screen, all the way to his right side, in position for this ball, but the ball's on the outside corner. Daniel Cabrera able to get just enough of it to pop it through the infield, and LSU with another run at 7-2.
Zach Watson coming back to the plate. LSU trying to be in a position to host in the postseason and bring the postseason back to Baton Rouge. They were on the road last year in Corvallis. Saw the D1 baseball projections that came out this morning. That one's down the line, fair. Duplantis will score. Cabrera headed to third. Jordan brings it back to the infield, and it's a run-scoring double for Watson. Tigers are rolling.
Let's go.
That's now 7 hits for LSU in the last 2 innings. 1-2-3, 1-2-3 in the first and the second. Since then, the offense has been all over the place. Watson doubles right there. He's reached base twice. Looked like a slider from Self. Hooks it just inside the line. Nothing Marshall Gilbert, the third baseman, can do. Duplantis scores easily. Cabrera to third. LSU's doing all they can right now to try to get that 16th and final host.
Watson's got some loose hips. 19th batter in the last 2 innings for LSU. It's Chris Reed. He got 2 at-bats in the third, a single and a strikeout. LSU in competition with a host of other teams to be a host in the postseason, including the Gauchos of UC Santa Barbara. But UCSB has lost the first 2 games of their series against Cal Poly. Now that has numerous effects. Not only would it put LSU in a better position to beat UCSB for a hosting spot, but if Cal Poly wins again on Saturday, they'll finish tied atop the Big West standings with UCSB. Cal Poly would get the automatic bid because they would have the tiebreaker head-to-head, and that would be a bid thief and be of utmost importance to folks in the SEC like Mizzou and Florida.
That losing the first 2 to Cal Poly may be enough to bump Santa Barbara out of there, because they played 3 games against the RPI top 50 this year. This is LSU's 36th. As of now, they're 20-15, and it's not easy to compare teams in the Southeast to teams in the West, especially those that aren't in a power conference. And this year, the Big West is not a power conference.
But over the years, the Big West has been a team that sends a squad to Omaha each and every season. So, in that regard, does historical significance from a specific conference impact what you think of their champion?
Not this year. I mean, I think this year the eye test does. Fullerton's not going to make the postseason. That's the first time in almost 30 years. Long Beach fired their coach in the middle of the season and had the worst year that I think Long Beach has ever had. Long Beach went on the road, played 2 teams in the SEC, and got swept both times. To me, this feels like LSU wins this game, and I'm not sure that a host should depend on 1 game. But LSU wins this game. Their RPI gets in a point. I'd be surprised if they're not that 16th and final.
Now, it shouldn't depend on 1 game, but even marathons sometimes come down to the final step. And the payoff to Reed. Little dribbler, tough play. Foscue couldn't get out of his glove. 1 run home. Here's the second. Safe at the plate. And LSU scrambles home 2 runs on a Chris Reed ball that didn't leave the infield. Fantastic hustle by Zach Watson.
Dustin Foscue does all he can do right here to come in on this ball. It's a tough play for a second baseman. You're coming in, and then you got to torque your body to get it to first base. The runner's safe at first, and Tanner Allen with a strike to home. But the speedy Zach Watson gets in under it.
He can fly.
Yes.
Chris Reed does a lot of things well, but if Chris Reed's getting infield hits, it's a pretty good night for LSU, because that means it's all going right, and it all has gone right in these last 2 innings. 5 in the third, 5 in the fourth, after sending 6 guys total to the plate in the first 2 innings.
Into right field off the bat of Garza. Over the head of Hatcher. Reed will be waved home. He's going to try and score from first. And he will. Reed is banged up. Limps back to the dugout. Not a great sign for LSU, but a guy who once challenged Paul Maneri to a foot race apparently just scored from first.
See if the hand gets in the very front of the plate before the tag's there, because the tag definitely gets there. Does the hand touch the plate first? He's safe. He's safe. That front hand, it was whether or not it hit the plate right before the glove got there, and I think it did. I think Reed's safe. I love the chance that Nolan Cain's taking right here. 2 outs. Reed Doesn't have great speed, but you're going to take a chance right there with 2 outs. If there's 1 out, you're probably holding Reed at third base right there. But you take that chance every time, and it looked like that left hand just got in.
And Garza hit the bullet out to right field in the 3rd inning. Again, here in this inning, Hatcher misplays it a little bit, gets all the way to the wall.
Remember, LSU is already down 1 infielder when Broussard left the game. Wow. Incredible hustle by Chris Reed. He thought pregame energy was good from the guy who was double fisting. This is in-game energy from Chris Reed.
Look at him like a tank. All the way into home plate. They questions Chris Reed's hustle. Back in the fall, he got released. Now he's back. Might have hurt himself.
$11 runs from LSU. Did you see this coming?
Not after the first 2 innings, no.
They had 5 runs on 4 hits last inning, 6 runs on 4 hits in this frame. Well, if Mississippi State is able to come back in this one, it will be record-setting. The largest deficit overcome in the SEC tournament was 9. That was in 2006. Georgia trailed South Carolina 9-zip after 2. They won 16-10. Hal Hughes. Nothing in 2. It's the 30th time that LSU has scored 10 or more runs in an SEC tournament game. No other school has hit double digits more than 18 times. Left side, Westberg with the backhand. Hughes safe at first. Here comes a runner from third, Garza, and he will score. 12-2 LSU. They'll rule it an error on Jordan Westberg. No RBI for Hughes.
Yeah, but Jordan Westberg played that ball right to his right side. You certainly don't want to launch it, so he keeps it low down in the ground. Tanner Allen just not able to handle it.
There's a 10-run rule in the SEC tournament is applicable after 7 innings of play. Josh Smith at the plate. This is nuts.
This is game 14. 12 of the last 13 games have been decided by 2 runs or less. And then this breaks out.
Well, we had the other one.
Yeah.
We had the other one where 10-run rule. This one could end up that.
If you're looking for a positive spin as a State fan, remember a couple years ago in the semis, Arkansas blew the doors off Florida 16-zip, and the stitches blown off of that ball, but it's pulled foul. Florida, a few weeks later, would win a national title. Winner.
Remember these days?
Fired up.
Not sleeping tonight.
Slice through the left side. The hits keep coming. Josh Smith is 2 for 4 tonight. It's only the 4th.
6 hits, 2 walks in the inning for LSU.
LSU has won 11 games in the SEC tournament via the run rule all time. That's the most in tournament history. Next closest is Vandy with 6. The run rule is of utmost importance to this LSU team, which has no pitching. Saves you 6 outs on the mound if you can keep it a 10-run game.
You just need guys to throw strikes now.
Nice pitch right there by Riley Self.
Two balls, 2 strikes. There's a common theory, and we talked about it, that the game after a long game or a late flight or whatever it might be, when you're depleted via sleep, that you have enough momentum and juice to get through that game, but it might affect you the next time out. That doesn't seem to be an issue.
Now watch Riley Self after this pitch, and I think that's why Chris Lemonis comes out right here. That's just not a normal move after you throw a pitch right there, especially when it gets fouled off. He kind of leans over for a minute, and even with 2-2 count, Chris Lemonis was up immediately, goes out and makes a move.
Velo on that pitch, by the way, was 89 miles an hour, and he'll head immediately back towards the clubhouse.
If I could, maybe I'd give you my world. How can I, when you won't take it from me? You can go your own way, go your own way.
Your wireless, your rules. Only with Xfinity Mobile.
Abby says she wants to marry a B-Dubs honey barbecue wing. We get the sweet, tangy allure of honey barbecue sauce, but you can't marry a chicken wing. What are you going to serve at the wedding? Their family? 26 sauces and seasonings, now with free delivery.
You took me in and you wrapped your arms around me for days.
After being a part of millions of love stories. At K, we believe that nothing should get in the way of love. Get 20 to 40% off all engagement, wedding, and anniversary rings. Only at K Jewelers.
You are watching the SEC Network. Due to time constraints, we move you ahead in our coverage.
Between innings, Chris Lemonis addressing his team. Head coach on the far left of your screen. I don't know what can be said at this point. You're down 10. One of your pitchers left with an injury. Another one got spiked at first base. And a first pitch strike to Luke Hancock from Aaron George. Chris, did you have ears on that conversation?
I did, and he wasn't very angry. He just gathered everyone around and said, guys, this is a time for us to learn from our mistakes. We need to keep our composure, and let's try and get a rally and something else going on here. But, wasn't yelling at them, just was telling them, hey, guys, let's pick it up a little bit.
What you're seeing here in this game, does that affect what you think about Mississippi State and their postseason opportunities?
Not one bit. Not one bit. What it is doing, though, is it's giving LSU a chance to put a big W in a win column that can affect whether or not they're playing at the box next weekend.
You sure they don't want to host a regional at Hoover?
Might not be a bad idea the way the Palm-Areas Club has played here. He's won this thing 6 times.
Kevin Clark builds graphics for us. This is a good one.
I think they want to be home. 21 of 25 times since LSU's hosted a regional. They've advanced out of that regional. Aaron George now 3-2.
I didn't mean to infer that there was ever a time where Kevin doesn't build good graphics, but Lisa's actually doing the heavy lifting anyway. Foul territory. Saul Garza flicks the mask. 1 down. The resume looks pretty good for Mississippi State regardless of what happens in this one.
Yeah, you won 20 games in this league, which they did. 46 wins. Chris Lamona's now won more games as a first-year head coach in this league than anybody. D1Baseball.com has them as a number 3 national seed, which would mean they would play at the new Duty Noble for the next 2 weeks if they can win out. This one, I know your fans want you to win this game. Obviously, Chris wants his club to play a little bit better, but it has zero effect over whether Mississippi State's a top 8 seed.
Condos are still going to be pretty nice, aren't they?
They always are.
Todd, earlier this season, KP and I did a game for Mississippi State. We did it from the condo.
I watched a little bit of that. You didn't buy one?
No. Passed on it. Gained 8.5 pounds during that broadcast. Got a heck of an arms race when it comes to facilities here in the SEC.
Florida's next. Put a shovel in the ground a few months ago. That new facility would be ready for the 2021 season. LSU was really the first, weren't they? I mean, the new Alex Box was the new, and then it was South Carolina. Then Ole Miss kept going. Then it was A&M.
Kentucky.
Now Kentucky. Mississippi State. Alabama.
Marshall Gilbert up the middle off the glove of Hughes. I asked Skip Burtman years ago what it took to build this LSU baseball program, and I was thinking along the lines of, well, it's a really nice stadium, and you got really great players in that state, and the youth programs in that state produce players that are good enough to win in the SEC. You know what his answer was? Diaper changing stations. Excuse me, coach? He said, well, yeah, to get fans to the ballpark, mom's got to be able to come to the ballpark, and you got to bring the kids to the ballpark. You got to have some place to change a diaper. And then once that happens, you build the program, you sell the tickets. Yada, yada, 6 national titles.
They learned it from Ron Frazier. I mean, Ron Frazier at Miami was one of the best showmen in the entire country when he was college baseball coach for so long for the Hurricanes.
Pitch in the dirt at Mangum's feet, 1-1. by the way, Miami Marlins sent out a tweet today after a big home run that said, "We want Bama." Kind of a funny tweet if you think about it in the macro sense. I found it funny because they want Bama, but they can't outdraw LSU. 4, 6, and 3. Wow. What a job by Drew Bianco.
Well, he's not over there much, but Drew Bianco's played some second base this year, played some third base this year. Not original in the starting lineup, but that foot stayed on just long enough.
Abby says she wants to marry a B-Dubs honey barbecue wing. We get the sweet, tangy allure of honey barbecue sauce, but you can't marry a chicken wing. What are you going to serve at the wedding? Their family? 26 sauces and seasonings, now with free delivery.
If I could, maybe I'd give you my world. How can I, when you won't take it from me? Go your own way, go your own way.
Your wireless, your rules. Only with Xfinity Mobile.
After being a part of millions of love stories, at K, we believe that nothing should get in the way of love. Get 20 to 40% off all engagement, wedding, and anniversary rings. Only at K Jewelers.
Now this is more our speed. Fryers are going. Fish is ready to go. Yes. Best thing about lemonade is what you add to it. Dippin' Dots eating contests and some elephant ears, a hot dog, everything you want at the SEC tournament here in Hoover. They spent $80 million on the campus here surrounding the Hoover Met. All because this city values the SEC and this SEC tournament so much.
Do so much around it, too. I mean, there was a huge youth baseball clinic that was going on up the street today. The convention center up the hill's packed every day. A lot of that was when this thing came up for bid. What was it, 2 years ago?
Sounds about right.
Let's go with 2. He'll be here at least for another few years. Attendance this year seems about as strong as we've seen it in a long time, too. It helps when LSU's playing well. It helps when Mississippi State's playing well. If Alabama and Auburn can stay for a while, obviously that helps.
Generally centrally located in the league, but what do you think happens from an attendance standpoint if this tournament ever does leave Hoover, ends up in, say, Memphis or Nashville?
I mean, you got to make it easy for people to get to, that's for sure.
The stadium opened in 1988. They have hosted the tournament 24 times. Here's a look at the bracket. Georgia and Ole Miss ready to go tomorrow. 1 Eastern on the SEC network. And then Vandy waiting on the winner of this one.
Georgia's going to split it up tomorrow. We saw their pitch, and Emerson Hancock will go 4 or 5. Tony Losi will go right behind him. So they're top 2 guys, and we'll see what they decide to do the first game of regionals next week. But they'll get both of them work tomorrow, and I think that's just in case you lose. You want to make sure both those guys get out there, get their work in, and they're ready to go next weekend. But we'll see 2 real aces for Georgia tomorrow.
Really hard to win this tournament when you don't get a bye on the first day. I mean, Ole Miss will be playing their 5th game tomorrow against Georgia.
Ole Miss is looking to repeat as champs, coming off of a first-day loss. Dogpiled last year in the Powder Blues. 2-1. This game took a turn in the top of the 3rd. 5 runs there, and then 7 in the 4th. Turned into a Rex Chapman tweet. Blocker charged this. High fly to left off Bianco's bat. Jordan at the fence. Great catch. Two down. LSU's a 5 seed, putting it on the 4 seed. This is how good the conference is in relation to the rest of college baseball. 4 of the top 6 play in the SEC.
Vanderbilt with 47 wins, Mississippi State right behind them, and both those teams play extremely well at home, Arkansas and Georgia. Those top 4, they'll be a top 8 national seeds. They get that home field advantage. They're tough to beat.
I think A&M hosts too.
Yeah.
And I know that, I mean, the offense at least wasn't very good here. They went 1-2, but their starting pitching was plenty good.
They only gave up 3 runs in their 2 losses here. Beat Florida on opening night 8-7, but just didn't score.
Daniel Cabrera 1 for 2 tonight. Roped to center. Daniel Cabrera has 2 hits tonight. And that's going to bring Zach Watson up. So what's the projection look like from a seeding perspective for number 1s out of this conference? I think go ahead and make that 5 with LSU, wouldn't you?
Not yet. Not yet. I mean, I think we'll see. I thought A&M would be there. I thought A&M would potentially host, but as of now, D1Baseball.com projecting that the only 4 1 seeds are the 4 of the top 8 national seeds. We'll see if LSU or A&M. I think ultimately one of those 2 gets in there. A good inning for Spencer Price, and State needed it. Now they just need the offense to get going. Plenty of time to go. We're halfway home, but it's all Tigers. 12-2 LSU.
Abby says she wants to marry a B-Dubs honey barbecue wing. We get the sweet, tangy allure of honey barbecue sauce, but you can't marry a chicken wing. What are you going to serve at the wedding? Their family? 26 sauces and seasonings, now with free delivery.
With over 200 flavor notes to discover, every sip of Woodford Reserve Bourbon is a spectacle for the senses.
If I could, maybe I'd give you my world. How can I, when you won't take it from me? You can go your own way, go your own way.
Your wireless, your rules. Only with Xfinity Mobile.
After being a part of millions of love stories, at K, we believe that nothing should get in the way of love. Get 20 to 40% off all engagement, wedding, and anniversary rings. Only at K Jewelers.
Have you ever wondered what umpires and players talk about during the game? If you have, this might surprise you. Daryl Arnold is wearing a mic. This is All Access.
I smell good for you now. I sprayed some of that Victoria's Secret.
Dude, I know.
Amber Romance.
It's pretty rough.
Yeah, I know my gear smelled bad.
Yeah, I know. Dude, I got to get my girlfriend some of that. You smell amazing, man.
You like that?
Oh.
It's been a long day for you.
No, it's all right, man. It's been a long day.
There's a lot of different ways you can clean up sweaty gear. You know, it's really easy to put it out in the sunlight. That might disinfect it. A lot of heat and direct sun. You could spray some Febreze, if you will.
Or you can go to the mall.
And you can buy some Victoria's Secret Amber Romance is squirt on there.
Is that what you're wearing?
60% of the time, it works every time. Hal Hughes has moved from second to short. Gavin Dugas takes over at second. Ripped to right off the bat of Rowdy Jordan. And a leadoff single in the 5th against Aaron George. pardon me, Hughes went to third, not to short. And that answered what was going to be my next question about Chris Reed. Remember, we saw him a little bit banged up when he scored from first base. He did stay in the game for an inning or so, inning or two. We'll get some rest for the senior. You think Paul Maneri has a rule about getting on Twitter during the game? Because I would not mind Chris Reed to shoot out a couple of tweets right about now.
I bet there could be a rule against that.
Darrell Arnold just got the Victoria's Secret knocked off his chin on that foul tip. Chris Reed is wildly talented with the Twitter machine. That conversation that Arnold had with Saul Garza moments ago about Garza wearing perfume on his catcher's equipment has me a little bit curious. Todd, did you ever wear cologne in a game?
No, no. Took a shower before the game, if that counts.
Well, it's just trying to stay fresh. Through the legs of Jordan, and Dugas takes care of Tanner Allen. Jordan advances to second. I think I know the answer for KP. A little couple spritzes of Drakkar Noir out there.
I owned that at one point. That was not part of the pregame ritual.
Here's Justin Foscue.
Hart, I bet you would, though. If that kind of feels like a move that you would pull off.
Look good, play good, smell good. It was never part of the equation. And considering my athletic skills peaked in Little League, I wasn't wearing cologne back then anyway. Nothing in one to Foscue. Great crowd, fantastic view. Unfortunately, the game hasn't lived up to the expectations. 12-2. Greg Sankey was on the set earlier today with Dari Noka for SEC Now. We'll have him join us, I believe, on Sunday during the game. There's a lot to talk about when it comes to college baseball. Not just the excellence of the SEC, but where does the rest of the country stand in regard to promoting the sport and putting it in a position to succeed?
We know where this league stands, that's for sure. Proposal this year to allow teams, not force teams, but allow teams to hire a third paid assistant was voted down. It was sponsored by the SEC, and I'm glad we get a chance to talk to Greg on Sunday because I'm sure he's got some pretty direct feelings about that.
Would have applied to both baseball and softball. This one's rocketed towards left off of Foscue's bat, but it will die in the glove of Daniel Cabrera. Two down. You think it makes a job harder for Big 12 coaches, for example, to recruit to their schools and to their conference and say, hey, come here because the sport means something? Because if I were a player, I'd raise my hand and say, wait a second. Didn't you guys vote against the legislation?
Well, their athletic directors did. Their coaches didn't.
No, the point is it makes it hard for those coaches, would it not?
I guess. I mean, at least at this point, everybody's got the same number of coaches they can hire. I think it puts coaches in the leagues that voted against it in a bad position because you know that they wanted it.
Ouch. Got him right above the number. Dustin Skelton reaches for the third time tonight. That'll bring Josh Hatcher up. Pardon me, Brad Cumbus will get a chance to hit here. He's been in right field the last inning. Chase Costello continues to get loose. So State fans, you come out to watch the regional next week. If there's anybody you want to sneak into the ballpark early to watch take BP, it might be this dude.
Yeah, I mean, this guy, he's got a chance to hit a lot of home runs the next few years. Just a freshman. Hasn't had a ton of playing time this year, but at 5 o'clock, it is a light show.
Two-sport player, also a tight end for Joe Moorhead's squad. Reach for that one off of the shin. George recovers in time to take care of Cumbus. No runs, a hit, and no errors, 2 left.
Connor wants to name his kids after B-Dub sauces. Hope you want a whole litter, because we've got 26 sauces and seasonings. So gas up the minivan, because Mango Habanero has a dentist appointment, and Honey Barbecue is late for ballet. Buffalo Wild Wings, now with free delivery.
If I could, maybe I'd give you my world. How can I, when you won't take it from me? You can go your own way, go your own way.
Your wireless, your rules. Only with Xfinity Mobile.
With over 200 flavor notes to discover, every sip of Woodford Reserve Bourbon is a spectacle for the senses.
Geico is giving new and current customers a 15% credit on their motorcycle policies with a Geico Give Back. And because we're committed for the long haul, the credit lasts your full policy term. The Geico Give Back, helping riders focus on the road ahead.
After being a part of millions of love stories, at K, we believe that nothing should get in the way of love. Get 20 to 40% off all engagement, wedding, and anniversary rings. Only at K Jewelers.
Let's take a look at who's taking the next step. Brought to you by Regions. It's LSU in the last, 2 of the last 3 innings. Set the minimum of the plate in the first 2, and then they didn't. Little help from Mississippi State. Bats came alive. 5 spot in the 3rd. They sent 11 guys to the plate, and they do the exact same thing in the 4th. 6 hits in the 4th inning alone for LSU. Now 11 in the game. Everybody but Drew Bianco, who's hit it on the button twice and has a sac fly, has scored already in this game for LSU. It is 12-2 Tigers.
Interesting.
They don't anymore.
I thought we were the only ones that worked Friday nights. I was anxious to see this guy pitch for Mississippi State, Eric Sarantola, who was a great hockey player growing up in Canada. He's from Oakville, Ontario. He was drafted in the Ontario Hockey League. Played for the Canadian junior national team in baseball, was also drafted by the Rays. And Sarantola delivers 97 for a strike.
Come on.
That looked easy.
We waited till 12-2 to roll the kid in out of the bullpen throwing 97?
How about 98?
Check that.
Canadian national team played the Blue Jays last year, and he retired both Dante Pichette Jr. and Vlad Guerrero Jr. Led the Oakville Rangers minor midgets in scoring and was drafted by the Owen Sound Attack in the Ontario Hockey League draft.
Who is this guy? What? You see that?
He's blown.
97, 98, and a hammer. With sink.
Struck out 7 when he started against the U.S. in the Under-18 Baseball World Cup. Former Blue Jay Dwayne Ward said he had the most upside of anybody here when he was with that under-18 team.
Yeah, 11 walks in 12 innings this year. Certainly doesn't look like that guy now with a blow by you fastball on 3-2.
He hasn't been pitching that long.
He may be pitching a lot longer. They don't teach this one very much. 97 with carry. Wow.
Turn down the Rays, turn down hockey.
Pinning it on the outside corner.
How many direct flights are there from Oakville, Ontario to Starkville, Mississippi?
Twice daily. You get to Atlanta and Ontario.
He's 6'5", 195. So Garza is doubled. 1 for 3. Garza caught 96.
So Garza can turn around a fastball. That ball was center cut 0-2. A mistake by Sarantola. Thought we'd see that hammer right there.
We've got pretty deep scouting reports on every team in the SEC. Eric Sarantola, was he on yours, KP?
No. He is now. He's not just on mine either.
There's a lot of radar guns popping up right behind home plate. And some guys who may have been kind of drifting through this one as scouts have taken notice.
I'm not. Okay, this is, and he's a freshman, so obviously he's not draft eligible. Remember, it had to be 5 years ago. Florida rolls in here when it had about as deep a pitching staff as they could possibly have, and it was maybe their 5th game here. Kevin O'Sullivan says, we're going to throw a left-hander today. He's thrown about 15 innings this year. I think he's got a chance. Scott Moss. Remember Scott Moss?
Yes.
Ends up that year like a 5th rounder to the Reds. I mean, comes out left-handed like 92 to 95 with a hammer breakable, and you're like, where did this guy come from? He's still pitching. I think he's in Double-A for the Reds. This guy, if Sarantola's a junior, if you've never heard of him, he walks out to the mound, and you got scouts sitting behind home plate. This guy goes in like the first. I mean, he goes for the 5th or 6th round.
And this at bat alone, I mean, again, he's got a high walk total. He's hit that outside corner 3 times to Hughes, so his command has been there tonight.
These guys are breaking out the roster.
And that's
Who's
a
37?
I mean, he missed, but that was just a couple inches.
He's 96 to 98. And easy.
Yeah.
There's more in there. There's a few reports that are going to get filed tonight. There's this kid. I've never seen him before. He's 6'5", can skate. Those 98. They put all those things together.
Yeah, because that's important.
'96, chopper to third, no play at second. And wow, I thought that was late. Don't forget, 10-run rule in effect in the 7th.
Yeah, with the hop to Gilbert, he had no chance at second base. He looks over there.
Safe.
That's why it's important to have a strong arm, but he waited too long. Yeah, he looks safe at first. That look to second base cost him. I guess they're going to challenge it.
You know, you might think to yourself, well, it'd be bad sportsmanship challenging up 10.
Not with a bullpen.
Exactly right.
I mean, not with the bullpen the way that it is, and not with a chance to potentially end this game in 7 innings and save your bullpen. I'm surprised that Paul Mainieri didn't challenge it.
Yeah, under any other scenario, I think you don't. You know, I mean, there's probably an unwritten rule there, but yeah, when you're trying to shorten the game to save your pin to try to win it, that became pretty important. You would think.
Can you imagine if you're Eric Sarantola trying to explain to people in Ontario or in Oakville how important college baseball is in the SEC? We got a balk. That doesn't happen on the ice. No, really. I pitched in front of 15,000 in a $50 million stadium with condos in it. Oh, you pitch in the Sky Dome? No. This is on campus.
No, it's in Starkville. And they're going to build 24 more of those condos.
High fly to right. And Cumbus has it. Ontario Hockey League used a draft pick on him. So did the Rays. 8th round in hockey, 30th in baseball, and that's climbing.
Abby says she wants to marry a B-Dubs honey barbecue wing. We get the sweet, tangy allure of honey barbecue sauce, but you can't marry a chicken wing. What are you going to serve at the wedding? Their family? 26 sauces and seasonings, now with free delivery.
Jack Daniel's Tennessee Apple. Pick boldly.
If I could, maybe I'd give you my world. How can I when you won't take it from me? You can go your own way, go your own way.
Your wireless, your rules. Only with Xfinity Mobile.
Geico's been helping people save money for over 75 years. They've really stood the test of time, much like these majestic Rocky Mountains, which must be named after the...
That would be Rocky the Flying Squirrel, Mr. Gecko, sir.
Geico.
Hoover, Alabama's side of the SEC tournament. Great fans both in the seats and protecting themselves from the heat, headbutts, fresh paint, Farkle, or whatever you want to call it. Some shimmies, some popular bat boys, and a champion will be crowned at the end of all of this. This is LSU's pitching usage. May include a position player before all is said and done. Rock, paper, scissors. You call it Farkle? Did you call it Rochambeau?
Rochambeau.
What about the tailgating game where you try to throw beanbags into the hole from about 30 feet on the wooden platform?
Cornhole? It's on TV now.
It is.
Official name.
Bags, cornhole. Here's Chase Costello, freshman from Pompano Beach, Florida. 0-1 with an ERA almost 10.5. What do we got to do to get that gig? Call cornhole championships? Shouldn't you have to work and participate with a solo cup in your hand?
We keep going like this, I think we probably will.
24 hours of cornhole. We put a tournament on. You know who'd be great at cornhole? Nick.
On the mic. He's built for it.
You could have an SEC cornhole championship in the RV park Friday of the SEC tournament leading into the two games. Got a lot of really good ideas.
And the winner gets what?
You all win. Who cares? It doesn't even need to be a prize.
Oh, You haven't seen me, man. I can flip some beanbags.
You would have been my first draft pick.
In cornhole?
Sight unseen, yeah.
That one is touched. Wow.
Jeez. Ball's in the parking lot. Came back in, hit the fence.
Look out.
That's pavement.
Look out.
Get out of there.
Yeah, that's a good move.
Yeah.
Just get it and hightail it.
Full count from Costello to Westberg. Can't try to do it.
No, that's. I mean, I'm all about multitasking, but that one, you just there's too much competition. You got to make a choice.
Got to make a choice. That's a quick decision too, man.
Chase Costello issues a leadoff walk to Jordan Westberg, and the 3 a.m. hero Gunnar Halter is going to get a chance to hit it here. You look at the score, and at first glance, if you haven't been watching long, you might say, well, what's the big deal? You could run around in the 6th inning. Well, there's a 10-run rule in effect in the 7th. If LSU can hold on to that 10-run advantage, they can save their bullpen a little bit. And the fans can get refreshed and get ready to come back out for a semifinal tomorrow against Vandy. Gunnar Halter's dad played a long time in the big leagues. Played 9 positions in one game and had the game-winning hit. Did you play with his dad?
I did play with Shane, yep.
Did you?
Played with Shane Halter, yeah. AAA, actually.
Where was that?
Talented. Salt Lake City.
Was it the Bees?
Buzz. The Buzz.
Are there a lot of bees in Salt Lake City? Where did that name come from?
Well,
I know there's no jazz.
The basketball team, they just double Z's. They just figure it out, you know. Buzz, Jazz,
Fuzz.
Buzz.
I think Salt Lake Fuzz would have been a much better name. Could have worn police uniforms. Sinker for a swing and a miss for Halter.
Costello just a freshman. This stuff works right here too. Slider to get to 2 strikes on Halter, and then a little sinker to throw right under the top of the barrel.
Yeah, right now they just want Costello to throw strikes. It was a good at bat.
Marshall Gilbert, 4 for 11 this week, and a breaking ball in for a strike. Remember last inning or so, we talked, we shared the sound of Daryl Arnold, the home plate umpire, chatting with Saul Garza, and Garza sprayed the Victoria's Secret perfume on his gear to short. Hughes is second for 1. Dugas throws it wide. What happened at second?
Well, I mean, Dugas got taken out, but I thought the slide was fine. If Westberg goes straight into the bag, it's
lost his shoe.
Pulmonary out right now because he got taken out pretty good. But watch Westberg. There's nothing wrong with that. He went straight into the base. I mean, Dugas got to clear himself right there. If he's on one side of the bag or the other in college baseball, there is something wrong with it. But that was fine. It looks bad.
Yeah.
Just because the shoe goes flying.
In college baseball, not only do you have to go directly in the bag, but your slide needs to start before the bag. So your butt needs to be on the ground, and if you accomplish those 2 things, it's clean.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. And Dugas tried to get out of the way, just didn't clear himself enough. Left foot on the bag, coming across.
The runner is Westberg.
Yeah, and as a second baseman, you can feel that runner coming in on you too. And nice transfer from Josh Smith. If you're Gavin Dugas, you want to make more of an effort to get toward Josh Smith.
What was your worst one in the big leagues? Anybody really take you out?
Oh yeah, I tore my ACL. Carlos Lee.
Really?
Oh yeah, came in barreling on me.
That's a big dude.
It was interesting too because I got popped and threw it, and I didn't feel anything, and I ran back to second base, and my leg wobbled.
That happened to you last night too.
That was both legs. But I didn't feel it, but something was definitely wrong.
Did you play the rest of the game?
I played the rest of that inning, but obviously if they'd hit it to me, I had no chance and got out of that. But you definitely feel it at second base. You can feel that runner. You're not looking at him, but now they protect the infielders a little more. Don't allow the runners to take you out. But 20 years ago, you were well aware you had to get out of the way of that runner.
What upset you about a play being taken out?
Nothing.
Second.
Nothing. And then when they changed that rule in the big leagues, I was a defender out there, and of course you also get a chance to run too. But I didn't have a problem with it. I knew it was my job to get out of the way, and I did make a turn one time on Angel Echeverria in Double-A. He was trying to come at me. I hit him right in the eyebrow. Took his eyebrow off. The ball goes all the way down the left field line.
Did you really?
He didn't slide. He was in my face. So I threw it right at him.
Roller. And no issues there. We're going to have story time with Todd Walker continue after this break with LSU up 10.
Connor wants to name his kids after B-Dub sauces. Hope you want a whole litter, because we've got 26 sauces and seasonings. So gas up the minivan, because Mango Habanero has a dentist appointment, and Honey Barbecue is late for ballet. Buffalo Wild Wings, now with free delivery.
Jack Daniel's Tennessee Apple. Pick boldly.
If I could, maybe I'd give you my world. How can I, when you won't take it from me? You can go your own way, go your own way.
Your wireless, your rules. Only with Xfinity Mobile.
Ain't nothing better than a night like this. No, there ain't nothing better than a night like this.
Welcome everyone to Omaha, Nebraska, home of the College World Series.
No, there ain't nothing better.
That's one way to get it started.
Ain't nothing better than a night like this.
It is caught! The 0-2. He got him. Gets one to hit, drives it to right. This one is gone! And the Beavers are on top of the college baseball world.
College World Series starts Saturday, June 15th, and on the road to Omaha, let Dari or Peter or whoever's in the studio and our crew get you set for SEC Now Road to Omaha. Comprehensive breakdown of the Road to Omaha for all the SEC teams following the NCAA Selection Show. Preview of the upcoming regionals. That's Monday at 2 Eastern on the SEC Network. David DeLucci, such a big time. Big time this. He's only a studio guy now, which means he gets to eat Dippin' Dots during the games.
Look at all those people he's talking to. They're talking to him.
That's his entourage.
Yep.
He's got an entourage.
One time I had a home run right there. Stole 7 bases in a game once.
I had the best beard in the ballpark.
And I can bench more than you can.
14,294 in the ballpark tonight. That's the 4th largest crowd in the history of this tournament. Giovanni DiGiacomo at the plate. Okay, so LSU fans are used to going to Omaha. They probably have their routine down. Mississippi State has been there on a regular basis. They expect to return this season. Mr. Omaha, for fans that may be going for the first time, give us something to do in your hometown that maybe baseball fans aren't aware of, or even people who've been there before looking for a hidden gem. Don't give me the zoo. Don't give me Zestos. Give me something different.
No, I will. Okay. I'll get you one. Breakfast place, you're going to go just a little bit south of town to Louis M's Burger Lust. Okay.
That's a breakfast place?
It is. Just stay with me. You asked me the question. Let me answer it, okay? That's where you need to go.
Okay. Louis M's.
Louis M's. Start your day there. Go to Dinker's for lunch. They actually have burgers. That's close to downtown. You won't really need dinner after those two, so you can call it good.
Fly ball to left field. And 2 down.
Or 1.
Huh. What's going on with my scorebook? Here's the dates for the postseason. College World Series starts June 15th. Regionals begin May 31st. We went to break talking about Todd Walker breaking up a double play by, quote, taking a guy's eyebrow off.
No, I didn't break it up. I was turning it.
I played with
threw
him.
the ball?
I threw the ball. And my point is, you have ways of defending yourself at second base, too. So I go to turn it in New Britain, Connecticut in Double-A, and I got Angel Echeverria staring me down, so I threw it at his face. Eyebrows laying on the ground like a caterpillar.
Wait, you literally knocked his eyebrow off?
Oh, yeah. I had to pick it up and hand it to him. And
How do you knock an eyebrow off? Was it fake?
I don't get into his personal life. I don't know about all that.
Antoine Duplantis flies out to center. You threw the ball at a man's face and knocked his eyebrow off.
It cost me an error. The ball went all the way down the left field line.
E-brow. What was his reaction?
I don't know.
I mean, I bet he bought a Sharpie that night.
Sharpie.
Glued it back on and called it a day.
Did he get back up quickly?
Yeah, he got up. He went to third. I threw the ball, away. The ball ended up on the track.
That's amazing.
Yeah, you can defend yourself. Throw your cleats up too,
I played with him later on.
Did he have an eyebrow?
I noticed he only had one eyebrow, and I could never figure out why. Now it makes sense.
That was probably years later too. Never replaced it.
I saw a guy with one eyebrow. It was a fraternity brother who went to sleep early in New Orleans on an annual trip and came back looking funny. Big guy slipped off the mound. You can skate on ice, but it's hard to throw off a mound. 2-1.
Big guy's a name to follow here. Eric Sarantola, who fastball's been up to 98. Faced the minimum. Gave up 1 single to Garza, but 2 scoreless for Sarantola, and State's going to need to score to keep this one going. 12-2 to the bottom of 7th.
Abby says she wants to marry a B-Dubs honey barbecue wing. We get the sweet, tangy allure of honey barbecue sauce, but you can't marry a chicken wing. What are you going to serve at the wedding? Their family? 26 sauces and seasonings, now with free delivery.
If I could, maybe I'd give you my world. How can I, when you won't take it from me? You can go your own way, go your own way.
Your wireless, your rules. Only with Xfinity Mobile.
Jack Daniel's Tennessee Apple. Pick boldly.
Capital One knows life doesn't update you about your credit card. So meet Eno, the Capital One assistant that looks out for charges that might surprise you and helps you fix them. What's in your wallet?
After being a part of millions of love stories, at K, we believe that nothing should get in the way of love. Get 20 to 40% off all engagement, wedding, and anniversary rings. Only at K Jewelers.
Let's take a look at Playing with Style, brought to you by Belk.
Yeah, Brant Broussard gets scoring going for LSU in the third with a double. Mikael Hilliard loves it. Chris Reed coming home, and he's safe. Howell with the call. Look at LSU, loving it. Double play by Josh Smith. Look at the range by Drew Bianca at first base. And the party going on in LSU's dugout.
Can't be that great a party. Everybody still has both eyebrows. The possum lives. Ground ball left side through. Rowdy Jordan, with a run rule in effect, starts off the 7th with his second hit of the game. Tanner Allen drove in a run back in the 3rd inning for Mississippi State. At that time, after that inning, it was a 5-2 game, and then LSU put a touchdown on the board in the 4th. Last time these two teams played, they had the 7th inning stretch twice. Now we'll, fingers crossed, barely have one here tonight. Above the lights. One down. This is what happens when you start talking about eyebrows. Watch Kyle Peterson.
And knocked his eyebrow off. I didn't see that one coming.
You LSU guys, Ben McDonald's the same way. You have these stories that cause absolute mayhem when you tell them, and they're perfectly normal to you. Like that was
you just stone face it. I mean, we're 6 games in here, man. Like we take that long until we get knocked his eyebrow off.
Well, we're talking about the double play for the first time, and it never comes into play anymore because you can't take anybody out.
It just feels like that's something that should have been shared a long time ago.
Should have been in the open.
I'll save it for the next time.
Do you have any other great baseball stories that you're keeping from us?
No, that was it.
Yeah, I'm sure that's the only one.
13 years, that was it. Everything else was pretty straightforward. Trying to think.
Yeah, don't.
You had an LSU game earlier this season in Columbia, Missouri that you almost didn't make it to.
Yeah, that's a great story, too. I've had three rough trips to Columbia, Missouri. Do we have some time?
Well, I'm not sure yet.
With the convertible bug.
Give it a run.
Turbo convertible bug. Watching Game of Thrones with the headphones on going down the interstate.
But I'd like to point out you're going the wrong way on the interstate. I mean, you went east. You're supposed to be going west.
Yeah.
No, we should stop that story there. But my favorite was when, to get to Columbia, Missouri, for some reason you flew into Springfield, Missouri, which is nowhere close.
Well, my flight got canceled, Charlotte to St. Louis, so they talked me into going to Springfield. Go to Springfield. Bag doesn't show up. Go eat a steak dinner like you were just talking about. Bag's supposed to come on the next flight, get back over the airport at 7. Doesn't come in until midnight. It was delayed.
Into center, and Watson shy of the track.
Continue.
I think the game the next day, LSU, Missouri, is at 3 o'clock. So I set my alarm for 10, going to eat a nice breakfast, get up and drive 3 hours from Springfield in the snow. And I pop up at 8 o'clock in the morning. Our producer says, 3 hours from game time, this is what it looks like. And it's got ice everywhere, and I'm like, wait, I started doing the math. I'm not great at math, but I started, wait a second, 3 hours at 9 o'clock. Game's at noon. It's 9 o'clock at this point, so I got a 3-hour drive. Game starts in 3 hours. I'm slip and sliding all the way to Columbia, Missouri, roll up at 11:55, and here we go.
Show and go. LSU an out away from a run rule victory over Dustin Skelton in Mississippi State. Glad you weren't driving the convertible bug with the snow and ice out that day. To the left side, Smith comes around it, throws off balance, a run rule win for the Tigers at the LSU Invitational. And they bounce back as they run it back against Mississippi State. This one in a tidy 3 hours and 8 minutes. George gets the win to 3-1. JT Ginn, the heralded freshman, struggled out of the gate. He drops to 8-4, and Clay Moffitt may be the MVP for LSU in this one. He outpitched Ginn. And LSU's offense pounds out 12 runs on 12 hits. It was decided early, 5 in the third, 7 in the fourth. They'll match up with Vanderbilt tomorrow in Game 2 of the semifinals. Game 1 is over.